is in fact not a lie. Welcome everybody to another Friday, week 7 of Blue Rose West Marches. My name is Anthony, he, him pronouns, and it's so great to see you again. Is it 8? It's
We're 8.
I thought there was one delayed, so this is 7.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Well, we're supposed to be
like
week 8.
technically. Yeah, exactly. But but the flower is in fact the big thing here. So thank you so much everybody for joining us for another session of West Marches Blue Roses. My name is Anthony, he him pronouns, and you can find me on Twitter at Prainntheplague right here. Before we get into our donation goals, sub goals, retweet goals, and what the general session is going to be about and what happened last week, let's go ahead and introduce our amazing cast, which in no particular order will be Fen.
Hello, I'm Fen. I will be playing the Vata'an named Marle this evening. Something else you want me to do for this, or
No, that's fine. Yeah, it's
perfect. Okay,
it's perfect. And then moving on, let's see, Pockets. We were through a wonderful mask.
Yeah. Hi, I'm just very like you, and today I'll be playing the right trash can of Pockets.
Pockets. I'm already so excited for anything that Pockets does. All the Rye Creature players in this game have gone on to do amazing things, so I feel like this will be no different. Next up, Anna, Archivaldustbun.
Yes, hey, I am Anna, aka Archivaldustbun in most places on the internet, and I will be playing Aeyla, the Vata'an adept, to bring a little bit of magic to this very martial party.
But many magic you do bring. And last but definitely not least, Paul playing Marcus.
Hey everybody, find me at Paul Merchants on Twitter. You can find me here on Weave pretty regularly, including Tuesdays running Shadowrun, and I'm playing a human night person hybrid Marcus, who's got no issues at all. There are no issues with my character. There's no resentment. Nothing. There's nothing. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
So that's what the party that we have working with us tonight. Tonight we'll be heading to the land of Jarzon, a theocracy towards the south of Aldis, and a very different place from the nation-state that we've grown accustomed to for the majority of these sessions. It is a place there's a lot of civil strife currently, with an oppressive theocracy pushing down on its common folk, and there's a lot of talk amongst it. Recently, Rizea has been saved. Their goddess has actually reappeared, and a new tribe was formed. So there's a lot of celebration overall with the kind of return of this once cursed clan, now reformed and goddess blessed. Harvests and crops in the west are plentiful, and most people are eating pretty well. We start at the Roamer's Rest, which is a sort of Romani people-inspired peoples known as the Roamers, who own and operate this tavern right outside of the main capital city, known as Aldis, where the majority of peoples come to relax, take a load off their minds, get some guided readings, and perhaps enjoy a number of festivities, both above the deck and below the deck. But prior to that, a little bit on our retweet and sub goals. At 20 retweets, we will get a pool of 20 HP to use amongst anything and anybody, whether it be people, things, rocks. I say this every session, but I have seen rocks and mango leather pants healed, and it has sufficiently helped the plot, so this is, I'm sure, would be no different. At sub goals, everybody's at 3 conviction, not constitution. That would be pretty high. Conviction so far, and with sub goals, we will reach double that, 6 conviction, to be used on rerolls, on self revives, on adding major actions, and a number of other great things. So help out that way, and a little bit on donation goals as well. $5 we get 1 conviction. 15, I'll introduce a complication. At 25, everybody in every week will get a magic item to use, and at 50, each party will get a unicorn companion to summon at their leisure. So, just a little bit on donation, sub, and retweet goals for us. Yeah, unicorns have become a big thing, and many of the Rye Creature players have joined the Haloed Knights. Excited to see how that faction turns out at the end of this. We are going to start off inside Roamer's Rest, where a large contingent of Jarzon priests are kind of discussing amongst themselves, getting ready for an academic conference of sorts and making connections in other neighboring regions, along with some Rhydan clansmen who have finally kind of come back over and are kind of happy about the return of this other, like, once cursed tribe, now not cursed. There's a lot of, like, merriment. This is a very accessible tavern. The Roamer's Rest is completely Rye Creature accessible, so everything's about double height. Like, there's like a moose door for, like, very large Rye Creatures to hop in if anybody wants to come in, and so there's definitely tables of assorted peoples, Vata, sea folk, and Rye Creatures drinking and having kind of a great time along with these Jarzon and Rhydan envoys. We are going to start off with two people that have not seen each other in a very long time. Barley is currently serving drinks. He's running ragged, getting exactly what everybody needs, from drinks like cider specifically for the Rye Creatures to hard whiskey for some of the regulars. Even some people are asking for Barley's reserve stock. She has a reserve stock of this black liquid that's actually like distilled pufferfish toxin that Rye dolphins use to haze each other and gamble. So if you want something, if you really want to put somebody out, and show off your might, you can drink as much pufferfish toxin as you can take before you need to sit down for a little bit and reevaluate some life choices. At the bar, two people are acquiring drinks to Vata. Who would like to speak to Barley first?
Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna break the silence first? Apparently it's me. All right. I believe about 6'2" Vata is currently standing at the bar, hair tied up in a loose and kind of messy bun at this point. The silver hair kind of falling out of what was probably once meant to be kept tight. And he kind of just looks over at Barley, who's currently probably going back and forth trying to get everybody's orders, and just waits patiently, understands the busyness. So.
Barley comes over to you, and they're like, you're like, I don't know, first of all, you're really attractive, but I feel like I've seen you before. I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, what would you like?
Just some ale, if that's possible.
Yeah, but you got a preference? Fruity, weedy?
Dealer's choice.
Fair enough. Hands you a regular ale with a small drop of that pufferfish toxin, just to make you feel something. Plops it in, and says, gets right back to, to their orders. He pops up next to Aeyla, where he's like, I'm so sorry, I feel the same. I said apologies to that gentleman over there, and I say the same to you, madame. I'm sorry. I'm just very busy today. It seems like we've had more traffic here than in quite a bit. What can I get you? She's, like, obviously very flustered.
Oh, no worries at all. Aeyla is sitting kind of further down the bar with a book open on a handkerchief that's been laid out on this bar so that the book doesn't get damaged. She is also Vatan. very tall and skinny, very fair skin, silvery hair, wavy down to her like mid to lower back. Very intense violet eyes. Wearing very loose, flowy clothes, well made in shades of purples and blues. Minimal jewelry, but the jewelry that she is wearing looks expensive. I'll just have another tea, like the last one.
Huh. I could have sworn I've seen you somewhere before. And Barley, who is a non-binary Layvel person working of Roamer background, working here at the Roamer's Rest, is like, yeah, pardon, you're also very attractive, but also, I remember now, and they come back quickly, and he hands you a spot more of tea, and then points to this person, to this Vata'an across the bar, and it's like, I'm sorry, do you know this person? I feel like you look exactly the same.
Aeyla,
When I get my tea, I will.
Forgot about this delay.
I will say in because I speak the language of the Roamers. Is it Fainto?
Yeah, exactly. And so Barley is speaking in a sort of like different language, is trying to keep it under wraps, but you're able to hold the conversation kind of perfectly, whereas Marle is like, dealer's choice.
Yeah, so I will look down. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay. Sorry. You will see what I've mentioned previously. You will also note that strung over one of his shoulders is a ornate short bow that looks exactly like the one that your family used to have back in Kern before you left.
Yeah, she stares down the bar at you for a moment, and still in that same language, says something along the lines of "fuck," and I think just freezes. Doesn't really know what to do with this in the moment. It's just kind of awkwardly staring.
Staring.
I think after a moment, as Marle turns around to see whether or not the individual that he has come to actually meet here has, actually arrived. As he turns around, he looks and he stops and he meets eyes with Aeyla, and then just furrows his brow for the briefest of seconds, and then just fully walks over. Like, it forgets whatever he was doing, does not finish looking around, just walks over and goes, Aeyla?
And she takes a moment and just sets her tea down. What the hell are you doing here?
Well, coming back
breaking
from
the
trying to
tension.
find-
Breaking the tension immediately, in bursts through tavern doors a nine-person hybrid and a rye raccoon looking to get a drink at the same said bar.
Yeah, so I think Marcus and Pockets kind of do the kick in, like, not necessarily full kick in the door, but whereas in Marle is the 6'2" attractive, Marcus is that 5'9" grizzled. Like, his helmet is under his shoulder, his face is slightly scarred, his head is shaved, so there's no weird. His head and face are shaved, so there's nothing to grip on. When he smiles, his canines are sharper and very much that night person, almost tusked look. And his skin is brown, but with a slightly gray tinge to it. And he's got Pockets next to him, and they're kind of arguing about, well, you did tell him to jump, you didn't tell me to punch him. Very much the, like... Like,
Pockets hands up immediately.
And Pockets is
Oh,
very much just a raccoon. And the notable thing about Pockets is they look like they stole a bathrobe that belonged to a small child and is now currently taken that as their like moniker thing to identify them from other raccoons. And interesting thing that I noted is I can't speak, but I can telepathically communicate. So that's how it just kind of like he's having a conversation with this raccoon, but there's no words coming out other than the sound that the raccoon makes. And he's perfectly hearing, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
I told you to go high and I was going to go low, and well, it all worked out in the end, so what's the big deal?
it did. I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, next time be more clear on the signal. Jump cannot be what you want him to do and the go word. It does not work. You have to have a separate go word and a separate request. It messes the whole thing up when you make them the same thing. It just doesn't work.
That's fair. I see where the miscommunication comes in. From now on, the go word is Tangelo.
Is what?
Tangelo. It's a cross between a tangerine and a Ello.
Tangelo. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Tangelo. I don't know how you're gonna find a way to work that into regular conversation, but good luck.
Oh, I'll find a way.
I'm gonna use it like a safe word, but that's just me. Like, Marcus is also kind of that person, like, he's wearing full heavy plate armor, but moves way, like, better in it than he should. Like, it's clear that he's not out of place, but he's very much like, walks up to the bar, looks around for barley, like, puts his helmet on the bar and calls for 2 drinks, a mead, and surprisingly enough, he just wants a seltzer water. Like, a mead for Pockets and a seltzer water for himself.
Well, Barley, approaches is like, well, that seems like pretty reasonable. I can do that pretty quickly. But did you actually want anything to drink, or your friend here? And like turns to Pockets.
The mead's for Pockets. The seltzer water's for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you had a plan initiated. I was just distracted by this very kind reunion that I've been looking at over here. And Barley turns around and he like already has a shot of this black liquid pufferfish toxin drink prepared. They take their sort of nozzle and crank the handle, which leads to a pneumatic tube behind the bar. It sort of like clinks and clanks, moves all across the deck until it finally rumbles below, and more of this black liquid goes into a second shot glass right next to it. Here's some banging from below the deck. Hey, keep it down! We're trying to gamble over here. And the drunk rye dolphins in the lower basement. There's a fight club. There's poker. There's out drinking, arm wrestling contests, all kinds of ridiculous stunts you could be pulling to make some extra cash and have some fun with some gangster dolphins, very very literally. But Barley apologizes and drinks both shots at the same time, takes a stool, puts on some like basically sunglasses, some visors, and just relaxes right there on the stool, watching it all play out for just a little bit.
Marcus actually does look over at Barley and goes, "Oh, how long have the clergy been here?"
About a week, very slow, almost a different accent.
Fair enough. Oh, Marle's here. So is Aeyla. This will be an easy introduction, Pockets. The guy you wanted to meet is here. He's already hanging out with a person that I know, so this is a 5-minute conversation.
Just jam in there.
Yeah, no, he just walks up.
Did you want to go see them? I gotta go talk to a guy about a dolphin.
I figured I'd introduce you first, because you wanted to meet him anyway, and then I don't have to wait.
Okay, sure.
Mhm.
And they'll just
You
scurry
always
up.
have to see a guy about a thing. That's not. You wanted to meet him because you said his skills would be useful for the next thing you're going to do. I don't do those particular set of skills. I am not able to play a single instrument, so don't even pretend that I have any musical inclination. I can
No,
tap
but
on
you
this
have
helmet and maybe
beautiful-
carry half the beat.
Yeah, you got a beautiful singing voice, though. That's what's important.
No, I don't. I have an awful singing voice. I sound like two dead cats fighting.
Sometimes that's enough.
A meow
Sure.
from upstairs, you hear. It is a very low, deep meow. Almost sensual. That is coming from one of the above rooms in the second floor. Um,
Hey, who's
perhaps a
skinning the cat,
polycule
am I
from a
right?
previous session.
Fair enough. But we will head over to Marle and Aeyla. Hey, Aeyla. Marle, this is the Pockets. Pockets, this is Marle. Introductions had. You can discuss your other business. And he'll walk around and go to the other side of Aeyla and just kind of post up and half pay attention to whatever Marle and Pockets are going to talk about because he has no idea what's going on between these two, and look over Aeyla at the clergy and keep them in his peripheral as whatever is about to play out plays out.
Yeah, that I will turn on Marcus, kind of spin around in my seat. You know him?
Yeah, he's a musician I've worked with a couple times. What about him?
It's my brother.
Oh, yeah, really? Because I expect him to be shorter and less talented and way more of a dick. But yeah, okay, interesting. I would have totally introduced you way sooner if I had known. It's not like he talks about his family much, and I just assume not all of your people know each other because that's super weird. If I did. So I apologize. That's on me.
No
The
worries.
fact that they
If
look
he
almost
wanted to
identical
find me, he could have done it.
strike you a lot.
Marl will raise an eyebrow at that last statement, Aeyla, and go, "What do you think I've been doing?" Did your people not tell you?
Marcus just starts drinking the seltzer water. Oh shit.
Tell me what, it couldn't have been difficult to find me if you actually looked. We weren't exactly a
Did look.
family that lived in the shadows.
No. But the family that you do have must not have told you that I stopped by while you were out. Or that I was still looking. Or that I even came at all.
You might want to go
No, I know
talk to
you're
that
not
guy
lying.
about the dolphin pockets.
Yeah, I think so. It's this seems a little too personal for me.
Take a quick aside to what's going on in the meantime as Pockets hops on downstairs and proceeds to see a very, very buff, shirtless dolphin, but with a trilby hat and a tie still on. Just kind of fist fighting it out with another dolphin in a tub of mead. Um, Shots of pufferfish toxins strewn everywhere, cards floating and drizzled in the actual pool, punching it out. Um, spits out some blood. What do you want?
Hey, is the gambling hall?
Yeah. Darts are over there. Poker over here. Or Fight Club over here. Poker over there. And gets a little confused, seeing birds spinning around. And indeed, there are fully dressed dolphins in very, very fine tailored suits and trilby hats,
That's
playing
a
poker
very nice hat
over
you
some.
have there.
What about the hat? Jimmy says to you.
It's a very nice hat. I'm admiring it.
Uh huh.
Makes you look very sharp and dapper.
Yeah, I love this hat. I literally don't wear an article of clothing except this hat and
I can
maybe a
tell.
tie.
I'm a big fan of my my bathrobe here. Um, so don't even worry about having to justify having a cool hat or accessory to identify yourself. The only thing is, have you considered like a feather or something to differentiate yourself from the other porpoises?
I would have to lose this in a fair challenge for me to part with this. Only something that would test my honor. I, I I'm never letting go of this hat. Although I will respect your bathrobe. It is clearly quite elegant.
Indeed.
Eyes you up and down, blushes a little bit.
You mentioned the challenge. You a man of dots?
You know, it's not really my game, and he like, is like doing the one hand like punching bag routine, and is just annihilating this other dolphin. It's like, I usually tend to stick to Fight Club, but yeah, I can go for a bit of darts. It just depends on what you're betting, what you're offering.
Well, he starts digging through his pockets, and he's like, "I got some shoestring. I got this. I took this duck bill from this guy who wasn't paying attention. I got a button, some coins. Um,
Nah, you
wait,
had
wait, wait!
me. You had
Tell- hmm?
you had me at duck lure. I need something
Ah,
to fuck with Henry, okay? My boss has been slipping up too much. I need something.
all right. And
I'll take the duck
let's
lure.
friendly wager my nice hair duck lure versus your fancy hat there.
There's absolutely no way I can lose, so this seems like a good idea.
Of course, of course. And
Yeah, I'm
it's
fully confident.
definitely
It's like Goodfellas scene is like laughing with like his crew, and he completely feels on top of the world here. You both, well, he stays in his tub, and they put the dartboard on a wall of equal distance and bring it right to him. Um, he's going to go first. Let's see what he gets here. Okay. Beat a 16 with a dexterity check, and any appropriate focuses do apply.
am I just rolling d6s for this one, or
So it's 3D, yeah, it's 3d6 plus, I would say I would take either your fighting or your dexterity, um, with any applicable foci.
okay? So this is clearly like the first throw to lull him into a false sense of security because I rolled
Hustle.
7. Yeah, it's the hustle.
I'm gonna hustle. Okay.
Go wide.
So,
Ah, gee, you're too good for me. What if we
okay,
make it
see,
2 out of 3?
yeah, it's fine. That's what I expected anyway. In fact, I'm gonna up the ante, right? Just because I can. He drops down like a huge anime bowl of like sardines and like assorted small fish, uh, and anchovies and the like. Basically, be like, look, this is my haul for the day. I get to eat all of this myself, all right? If you win, I'll throw this in.
Oh, geez, all of that yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
again,
shit.
I cannot lose.
Dolphins. Okay. You can't lose. All right. Well,
Rolls again.
you drive
12.
a drive a dog, and I'm gonna make it fair as well. And he reaches into his bathrobe and he
Oh.
takes out a handful of cotton candy and he sets it next to the bowl. This is my most valued possession. Just don't get that in the water. I've lost a lot of good cotton doing that way.
Don't tell me what to do, all right? I eat whatever the hell I want in my tub. He like
All
takes a
right.
shot of pufferfish toxin and punches one of his friends. Like,
All right.
rolls it. Jimmy rolled a 12.
I have a 15 this time.
Jimmy starts to see some dolphin veins popping, and he starts to chain smoke very quickly. He's gonna take some unknown herbs, and in the blowhole, just start puffing some out until he goes through about 3 of them, of this just like local herb. Gets like very jittery, and is like, "Listen, okay." My nerves are out of control. Okay, let's. You can't win this. I'm Jimmy.
You need a moment to steady yourself.
Takes his insult, blusters, rolls again with a slight penalty. You threw him off. Still, though, even with the said penalty, rolling 15.
It's a hard shot to beat. Pockets does the thing where he turns around and just does the backflip, and I have a 17.
So good. Okay, so you roll that 17. Jimmy starts to absolutely lose it. Immediately starts to go to town on some of his friends, just completely losing it, flipping tables, and unfortunately drinks too much of the pufferfish toxin, and is incapacitated. Kind of sitting there on the asphalt of the tub, and kind of like, like the wood barrel kind of keeping it up at the edge of the pool. He's like, and just kind of gets locked up in this position. Yeah.
During the catastrophe, did the cotton candy get wet?
Oh God, no! Pocket not allow it.
Pocket stole it. Pocket stole it back quickly. Everybody starts to cheer you on as Jimmy is just unfortunately in a little bit of a position where he's just touching his temples with his fins and is just kind of stuck there for a little bit. You have complete. You can pick up the trilby. The fish is yours. The rest of the bar goes wild. The Fight Club stops fighting, and everybody like toasts some drinks in your name. And everybody can hear, I'm sure, while the arguing and discussions are still going on upstairs, pockets, pockets. This is like actual hype beasts going absolutely wild in the basement.
I'm gonna leave Jimmy the smallest fish and just be like, "That was a fun game, Jimmy."
Local artist, a local like rye badger, quickly draws your likeness and puts you on the wall of people who have taken down Jimmy. So far, there are only 3, including you. So Pockets is the 3rd to beat Jimmy in any said contest.
Strike a very heroic pose for this quick reaction.
Back to it.
I might act it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Pockets has come up or not, or is already displaying massive amounts of fish wealth and the support of all of the basement. But it seems like Marle and Aeyla are finally getting somewhere
Possibly.
with their reunion.
And how do I know you're not lying?
He'll take the bow off from his shoulder and kind of extend it out to you. Do the markings look the same?
No, they do. I believe you are who you say you are. I mean, lying about looking for me. And as I say that, I'm going to try and make a psychic connection, but I'm going to try and do it without him noticing. So that's it's an opposed roll.
Okay.
It's against your perception psychic, if you have the psychic focus.
I do not. But I do have perception, so.
I think it's an opposed roll. Let me make sure.
Indeed.
Yes. And it's my psychic communication. Yeah, so if you don't have the focus, then it's just perception for you.
Okay.
Oh, great. 14.
14. Okay. And then it's 12. So you do succeed.
Yep. Okay.
So, as you say what you just said, you hear in your mind her voice.
Sure.
You can prove it if you're willing.
Do you need to look in here to believe me?
It'd be the easiest.
Just kind of tilts his head in real space. Fear. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to word that. Whatever you need.
Okay. Sit down.
Kind of take a seat.
You're gonna do the thing, aren't you? That.
Do the thing.
Good luck. Good luck, buddy. Out. Yeah.
It'll be fine. I'm sure he's not going to pass out like the last guy.
Well, let's hope.
And as she says that, the irises in her eyes flare with that same purple color. And I'm going to Mind Delve, which you can choose to not resist.
I'm going to choose to not resist.
Okay. Yeah. I can ask questions. So what I'm looking for is whether or not he actually did look for me.
You will see an entire conversation with your caretakers at their current residence where they are very argumentative and they are not very helpful. And you feel, or at least can perceive, the mental processes that go along with the emotions of just straight heartbreak on getting all the way there to have you not be there, and for him to just be blown off by these people that took you in and gave a shit about you. And they knew who I was, but they still chose to not be nice about it for whatever reason. And that's what he's still trying to wrap his head around.
Yeah, that's all she wanted to see. So she, as soon as she sees that, she breaks psychic contact and kind of sits back for a second, staring at you,
So tough.
and then leans forward and gives you a hug.
With one hand still on the bow, just immediately moves it out of the way and then hugs you back for a good moment. And then, as the hug releases, restrings the bow over his shoulder. So, how's life?
Yeah, Marcus
Can't
coughs in
complain
for
too
sure.
much.
Oh, Marcus chuckles at the how's life. Like, that's a loaded
Yeah, like-
question. Yeah, you want to be a little more specific there, buddy? Like,
Just want to make sure that was.
I'm also
understood,
happy
that was
she
heard
forgave
amongst
you because I
everybody.
don't want to get thrown out of this bar.
I didn't know.
I figured. I wouldn't be surprised given how combative they were when I arrived.
Life has been interesting. What about you? Are you okay? You don't look quite as well off.
Well, some things changed, but with where I was staying, so overall, it's been all right. Signed up with the, well, not really sign up, but the Rhydians took me in after a while, and from there I've just been kind of traveling. That's where I ran into Marcus through that line of work. Been kind of a distraction for some of his less than honest jobs.
At that, she turns and looks at Marcus. Less than honest jobs, huh?
They were personal matters. You know how I feel about certain people with certain positions. He kind of nods his head over at the clergy. He helped out with some personal things. He got paid well.
I did
Your
indeed.
conversation is heard very slightly, and the Rhydan riders who are there start to look at Marle and kind of hold up their glasses, whereas some of the Jarzoni priests start to look like a little scared, looking at Marcus, kind of seeing them first. And...
Oh, I straight mean mug them. They look over and I don't break eye contact. I straight mean mug them.
While Marcus
what?
mean mugs the clergy, Marle will raise his glass towards the Rhydan riders, in respect to them. So,
a masculine presenting rider approaches you, and puts his arm over you and is like, "So, have we found other kin here in the land of Aldis? Have you heard the good news?"
I have
this person's
indeed.
He's like,
He'll
he's freaking out.
clasp him over the shoulder from where he's wrapped his arm around, and pat him a couple times, and then kind of shrug him off after a moment. I have heard the amazing news. Thrilled that they are back.
Jessa returned. The Kerala clan is back. I can't. This is a new day for Rhydians everywhere, and the Rhydians here are just partying loud. There's a rye turtle spinning out on a Rhydan table, and they're just throwing basically bills on top of it. So it's a great time for Rhydians, whereas the Jarzoni are kind of stuck in books, and half of them are angry at Marcus, and half of them kind of quickly return to their texts and just start speed reading as fast as they can. Anders, who is a trans man, Lavel, of Rhydan background, he, him pronouns, speaks to you and is like, "Listen, okay, I am just so happy to meet somebody else here in such a weird place. When you're ready, our
very different
longhouse is right in the back, okay? Do you even have a steed here? I mean,
yeah, I have one. We'll have one around the corner.
got a horse got the horses in the back. Horse tags will attach. So that's fine.
I will absolutely stop by the longhouse when I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Just
we'll have to,
in case you need anything, right?
Absolutely.
In case you need anything.
We shall celebrate some more about their return.
Yeah. Anders is like, "Barley, a whole glass of toxin, please," and basically just asks for a whole stein of this black substance. Drinks this very congealed liquid, and just has a quick sigh. That's the good stuff. It just walks off without a scratch. Rhydan riders built tough. So. You get back to it, Marcus. You're still.
Have all the clergy stopped looking yet, or is one of them still mean? One of them not broken eye? This is literally the test of will, of dominance, of who's gonna break first here.
One of them. And if
there's down to one, I'm gonna look at him and be like, "Ain't nothing between us but air and opportunity, boyo. Nothing but air and opportunity. We can go downstairs, get in the tank." Box it out, buddy.
the meat tank and punch it out. Dolphin Fight Club. A high-pitched voice, kind of like ekes out in small syllables, like kind of single syllables at a time, out from the hood of a smaller figure amongst the group. Um, Getting out of their like basically high chair, a hooded figure walks towards you and takes off the hood to reveal a younger, like roughly like 21-year-old feminine presenting person of Jarzoni descent. Um, it goes by she, her pronouns. Listen, my name is Zaylin, okay? I don't know where you are or why you're looking at me, but you're with my friend. Um, we don't have to fight here. I'm just here to pick up some knowledge. And then like kind of hops over, is like tries to get past like the like gatekeepers and tries to hop over to Aeyla, like bright-eyed and blushing. Um, Aeyla! Aeyla! Is like super hyped to see you.
Do I recognize her?
So you do. Zaylin is the younger sister of Valen, the envoy from Aldis to Jarzon. So it's essentially a younger diplomat in training, um, who is, kind of studying under your wing whenever like you come over or she comes over, and sort of tries to learn from you as well as Valen. Valen's been in Aldis for a while, and Zaylin unfortunately has to head back to Jarzon, where she is not the happiest person. Uh, so she's just like very happy to see you, but is a little put off by this Marcus person who is staring down this 20-year-old woman essentially. Um, and whereas all of her other like older theocratic like elders have like backed down in cowardice, and she's like the only one who's looking at it still.
Zayla, it's
Is she wearing
a pleasure to
anything that
see you.
identifies? Oh, sorry. I was going to ask if she's wearing anything that identifies her sect of clergy. Or is she not wearing actual clergy robes? Is she just wearing diplomat's robes?
No, so she is wearing clergy robes, but it's not so much about if there's any identifying crests. It's more so about the quality of the clothing. They're not washed. They're not clean. It means that she might not have accesses to the services of the cloister that many of the other clergy are used to. So you can see that she's been excluded. She's in a foreign land. She's like, kind of studying literature and academic texts at the Roamer's Rest. It's very clearly unlike a normal clergy person.
It's not like back home where they get all the nice things.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? It just gets in the way. The Knights of Purity think they're so pure, then why are they drinking wine and hanging out with each other?
They're also not very good at being knights most of the time.
Yeah, thank you, Aeyla. I love your friend. Okay, like he just gets it. He just understands. He just gets it. I'm sorry. Who are you? My name's Zaylin.
Marcus.
Marcus. Well,
No titles. Nothing special.
It's a pleasure to meet you. And is this your bond? Is this your bonded friend? Pointing to Pockets, who has reappeared near Marcus.
Just holding a bucket of fish and a new hat. Hello.
No, just a friend. No, we're not bonded. But thank you for asking.
Pockets looks visibly hurt, I imagine.
Yeah.
I just kind of like.
We're not.
It's mutual. It's mutual. Well, regardless. Yeah, it's bond mutual. Zaylin approaches you and is like, wow, I haven't eaten anything in quite a bit, and they only let me have like a paltry meal. Please, would you mind if I had my fill of these small fishies?
How much is it worth to you?
Oh my god, how does it work? Wearing trilby and like on head and pockets has like this. Well, I'm sorry. These obviously must be very high quality fish, seeing as how your bathrobe and hat give away a higher status. I don't spend much time in Aldis, so I don't want to necessarily assume on social class, but
It's true.
I'd be
You
willing to
wouldn't be
give up a.
highly influential around these parts.
I'd be more than willing to give up a week's worth of rations and pay for a handful of these fishies.
You are a shrewd businessman. I accept your offer.
Aeyla? I'm sorry, what?
I can pay for it. Consider it just a farewell gift for now.
And she's like, basically like big sister Aeyla, like, thank you so much, like, clutching at your side and just kind of looking up at you, big eyes, weeping, like happy tears. And just starts to chow down, just starts to eat, I would say more than her allocated fill of fishy that you had purchased.
I will so I'll pull out of a pouch a small purple gemstone that's cut very finely. And hold it out, and it just kind of floats up above my hand. And I'll hold that out. Okay. Does this cover the fish?
Yeah. Turning it over. I think this will do nicely. You don't have any more of these, do you? I can get more fish.
The rest of them I need, but that one I can spare.
That's fine. That's fine.
A voice.
Yeah, get hungrier.
A voice from around the corner does call to you, and it says, it calls out, feminine presenting, but I can. And you see in the corner a large stall with ornaments and all kinds of decorations, inlays, engravings, and just very flashy. It seems like a collection of materials from all around, like kind of the known lands, and it feels like a very central, warm place. A table lies in front of you with two decks, two stacks of cards. And the person speaks to you, a person of Romer descent, of curly hair, middle age, she, her pronouns. My name is Theodora. It is wonderful to meet you. For about 7 weeks now, we have encountered new friends on special journeys, and we've made it a point to accommodate each and every one of them. Please, it would be remiss not to do a guided reading for each of you. It just happens to be that the people closest to her are Marcus and Aeyla.
Sure.
That would be quite kind of you.
I'll look over to Aeyla. I'm like, it's usually your wheelhouse, so do you want me to go first, like the one time, or you want to get the messages first? Because every time I go first, it goes badly whenever we do a thing.
That is true. I'll go first.
Okay. Aeyla, you draw your major arcana first, and you draw the lovers. Or in essence, you are characterized by true love, or some element of love fills you and does not leave you.
I think her
Theodora says to
eyebrow
you,
kind of arches at that.
like, almost like in disbelief, it seems.
Surprise, yeah.
Theodora, surprise. Theodora, looks at you and says, "No, do not be scared or surprised. Clearly, you hold much love in your heart, and it seems like recently something has brought a large part of that love back. Usually, when I draw this, a happy ending at a tavern much like this one is usually guaranteed. Please, be well and safe in your travels. Kind of looks straight at Marle and says, I hope her belief is well founded. So, Major Arcana, done. Marcus, your Major Arcana. For you, Marcus, you will draw, unfortunately, something completely different. And her face changes from one of actual serenity, whereas before she's usually kind of in a higher position, knows what's going to happen, can read things clearly, but still be humble. She's put off by such a positive, wonderful card as the Lovers, and sort of how optimistic it can be. Just as quick, her face changes to horror as she essentially you draw the Tower, lowering lofty goals and ambitions down to their basest forms and drawing away essentially the exact opposite of the Lovers. And she's horrified at how quick a change it could be, but you're still in such proximity to each other. She relays this to you and kind of just, ponders on how is that even possible. Do you know? And she asks you, Marcus.
I mean, I might have some unresolved issues with some people in power where I'm from. It might be something as simple as that. There's some unresolved issues with some people that are in charge.
You seek to cut ties. I hope that other ties can be made later, preferably with ones that are prone to it, looking at Aeyla. Now, the Minor Arcana stack is before the both of you, and there seems to be a bit of confusion about who should draw from Minor first. Let's quickly take a fighting or dexterity check opposed roll to see who draws by milliseconds the first card.
Sure.
That is, it's not going to go well for me. Decent roll. It's an 11.
Yeah.
15.
Ooh, four off, unfortunately. 15 for Marcus here. By milliseconds, again, Marcus, you draw a card from the Minor Arcana pile, and Aeyla, milliseconds right after, you do as well. For a split second, a tiny point in time, you both feel like you were touching the same card. Exactly the same card. But upon pulling, you realize that they're actually two completely different cards. Turning them around, once again, Theodora kind of like, her face changes again, surprise, putting her hands on her temples like, okay, now this is just getting ridiculous. And both of you pull the Knight of Pentacles. At the same time, essentially, from the same deck. She wonders how could the same card be in the same deck, but laughs it off as saying something that only fate would allow. I don't keep extras in these. These are meant to be the one who it's meant for is supposed to pull it, and later on, towards the end of the day, after many have taken, I refill. I have never seen two draw so quickly, so in unison, that somehow two of the same appears. So, as being Knight of Pentacles,
stuck in a cave for weeks together, you get to know each other pretty well.
That is true.
It seems like closer than you thought. I shouldn't have been asking about Rybons, or Zaylin shouldn't have been asking about Rybons. It seems like other bonds are stronger here. For your destiny, both of you will receive determined, and for your fate, hasty. So you'll be determined to do something, and eventually you will give way. You will take some shortcut, and you will become hasty. To act in a manner that is either determined or hasty, or towards your particular major arcana, both lovers and tower, you will gain another conviction. Surprised, she gives you a moment to kind of discuss amongst yourselves about these cards, while Marle and Pockets take the stand, basically, and start pulling their own major arcanas. Do you have anything to say to Theodora prior, or do you just want to get in there and pull these cards?
Let's see what the big deal is, huh?
Pockets,
Might
you
as
go
well.
in there. Yeah, Pockets is just like swoop. Drops it. Pockets, for you, judgment, atonement. For something, you will be a vessel of atonement. Whether you will do the judging or you will be judged is still left uncertain. But Theodora implicitly, or very, explicitly instills in you the idea that you are a powerful force, and that whomever wrestles with you will receive their atonement. As the cries of Jimmy the drunk dolphin echo out throughout the hallways, and maybe a part of that has already been seen. Lastly, you are going to be receiving the 9 of rods. I'm sorry, the 8 of rods, where your destiny is witty, however your fate is sluggish. You will have witticisms and be quick on your feet until one moment you're not, and you'll find yourself slower than the rest. Again, acting in either of these ways will net you a conviction. Marle, you dig in next. For your major arcana, you pull the Chariot, and comes with it an understanding of the mastery of the martial arts. I sense much drive in you, young Vata'an. I feel like you're on a path, finding something you lost, getting it back, staying on that goal. Your cause is noble and just. Keep at it. She like winks at you. I believe in you. For you, the King of Pentacles. She kind of like takes her hand one more time in surprise. She was finally starting to feel like she was getting back in a rhythm of normal guided readings up until another Royal Court of Pentacles cards for Minor Arcana appears in the same group. However, this puts you a little higher than them. You are resourceful. However, you will eventually, that resourcefulness will give way to sneakiness. And they'll try to take more than you were allotted, take more than you needed. A Court of Pentacles, a force of atonement, of perseverance, of true love, and of destruction. You four represent corners of the House of Many Troubles. But your paths are clear together, strong. Pay heed to the youth, both in Rizea as well as in Jarzon. They may help you yet. And Zaylin is like wide-eyed and bright behind you as the four of you have finished your guided readings with Theodora. As you bid adieu, thank each other, and move on. At this point, the Rizeans are being restless. They're fighting each other. The Jarzoni can't take it anymore. Until Zaylin finally pipes up where her elders will not. Please! A moment of your time. I know this is a celebratory time for Rizea, for Aldis, for each of us here believing in a sort of cause of freedom. It is not that way in Jarzon. They have censored us. They have stopped our boats, blockaded us, kept us in line. We are the only envoy out of Jarzon right now. The rest of our people home under lock and key. A curfew has been enacted. The shadow gates once more rumbling and active. No demons yet, none spewing, but our leaders will not stand for this. They're fighting amongst each other. They're angry. They've taken much of our cash, and we can't support ourselves. We need help. I need your help. And she starts to kind of call upon, Romer's Rest has become a place for public appeals. It is just outside of the city where the Knights of the Blue Rose do not have much kind of jurisdiction, but it still is so close to Aldis and to the capital city as to cause everybody to, you know, pay attention, for a rumor to spread quickly. She starts calling upon aid, and other Rizaeans join quickly. It seems like the Longhouse is now heading back to Jarzon instead of Rizea. But this is the time to kind of ask about what she specifically needs help with, or get on the boat and figure out what to do when you get there. And this is kind of where, out of character, West Marches takes into place. You can pick your thread, and the threads that you do not necessarily fix, maybe others will pick up in the coming weeks. Marcus, clearly something to say.
I have a role play thing before I pick the thread.
Yes.
After she's done giving her plea, I'm going to call her back over, and I'm going to ask for her hands, and I'm going to turn them over. What do her hands look like? Are they calloused, like she's done hard labor and hard work? Or are they soft, like she's never picked up and had to do anything on her own?
It's kind of a trick question because of your established knowledge of Jarzon prior, and it sort of works to your advantage. I do want to say that the West March's choice should be made in character. I was just making a statement about where we're at in that part of the story. So her hands are like extremely dry from ink and other like text strippings falling onto her skin. They are very calloused. She seems to have a small twitch or sort of carpal tunnel from all of the scribing that they make her do. And she's clearly excluded. Her robes are dirty. There's no visual identifier that's like different from the rest, but it's unkempt, and it's clearly less well taken than many of the other Jarzon theocrats you've realized, or that you've known back home. So sort of like shivering, dry hands, very calloused and covered in ink.
You have a way to contact your friend, do you not, Helena?
Of course, we keep psychic contact over many distances.
We'll be heading back to I guess technically it's our homeland. I have some contacts, but we can drop you a line. You'll probably be hearing from me in the future.
Please, we're running out of time.
A lot of us have been running out of time for a very long time.
She moves off to try and use her normal skills for proselytizing for military recruitment instead, and gives each of you, Pockets, Marle, Marcus, and Aeyla, a chance to discuss.
Well, it's not a very...
She's not wrong.
No.
Go ahead, Pockets.
Oh, I was just saying it's not a very lucrative business opportunity, but you seem invested.
This is way more personal than it is business.
Okay.
The Theocracy
For-
has been choking where I've been from for a long time. And if it's gotten to
Apologies.
a breaking point to where even members inside the Theocracy want to do something about it, I don't have a problem getting involved. If you want business opportunities, you're more than happy to carry all the gold you want out of whatever we end up doing. As much as it'll fit in your pockets, I don't mind.
That's motivation enough for me.
But I have some contacts that can tell us where at least my spear will be most likely needed. Aeyla, this really isn't your normal run-of-the-mill thing, so if you're not looking to know what my personal things that I've kept you out of all these years are about, that's completely understandable, but I know the little one's your friend, so...
Yeah, I've known her since she was very young.
She's not wrong. You know I don't talk about home much because I don't like it. But I can get in touch with some of the people I know and see what's going on. And Marle, I'll
Well, as long
double
as you
your
take
normal
the
pay.
hits.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do. I'd say I'm here to look big and scary, but he's way bigger than I thought he'd be. Just letting you know, like when you described him, I just assumed he'd be like shorter than me, and he's just not.
We were
Well, I haven't
About
seen him in
8.
18 years.
we were much younger then.
That's fair.
You don't need to. Are you going, Aeyla?
I think I am. I said I've known her since she was very young, and she looks like she needs the help. So I'll come.
Sounds good.
Marcus will take the hits. I'll do what I can with my powers that you saw earlier.
And I'll distract as best as I can. So, no rate on this one.
You could
Marcus.
definitely play some butt rock. That usually gets them real distracted. So.
Pockets, what about you?
Works.
Me, I mean, I'll take advantage of every opportunity that arises between y'all's brainstorm. So, don't
I
worry.
think
I'm
Pocket said he was in when he said he could fill his pockets.
Yeah. Whatever I can fill my pockets with. You just consider me the element of chaos. I'll be there to counteract any fun they throw at you.
Bonus points anytime anybody uses the word chaos for other reasons. So I will. And I took
The best laid
I took
plans of
personally.
Raccoon.
Yeah, Jarzon is better off being Raccoon City, so that's fine. Pockets, you're in. Aeyla, Marle, Marcus, you seem to be in as well. We will take this time to approach the Longhouse, get on board, and kind of speak with these Rhydan voluntary fighters that are prideful and, riding their high, with a little bit of a dangerous nationalistic streak, but because they are usually nomadic peoples, it is so rare that nothing would really come of it. That being said, these Jarzoni theocrats, and I use that term loosely for this specific group of people, are in definite need of aid, and they hop on the Longhouse, hoping to go back with as much of their academic haul as they can take. Now, to be clear, Marcus, have you already... I think we've agreed on being overly aggressive and following Marcus's lead on how we're going to sort of help them out. Am I in agreement there? They also mentioned something about money stolen from people, as well as this particular group of people needing their knowledge defended. These do represent kind of these three threads. We can talk about it more when we get back, or we can just kind of finalize it now. It seems like we're taking Marcus's lead. I just want to be clear.
Yeah. So I agree with that. I don't think there's. I'm open. Like, Marle is very down for whatever Marcus has planned.
Yep. Fuck.
So,
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Ayla's invested because of her friend.
Alright. Pockets is in it for the money, so this is already turning out great. At this point, we are going to take a 15-minute break. Be back when those 15 minutes are up, and then see what happens as we arrive in the land of Jarzon. See you all in 15. Hi everyone,
That's-
and we are back to our second half of Blue Roses West Marches here in Jarzon. It seems like we cut to Rizaean volunteer fighters and rebellious theocrat Jarzonites in the Plaza of the Sun in the capital known as Leogarth. It is a beautiful but uniform and stone city. I mean, it is very like defensive. You feel very safe from external invasion once you're here, but it also kind of feels like the walls are too high for comfort and you can't really leave if you want to. Every building is made of very high stone, modeled in the same sort of Gothic cathedral fashion, even when the building itself has nothing to do with any religious significance. It's just that due to a virtue of being a building of Jarzon, it has to kind of give off that same air. So by the end of spending only a single day here, you already feel worn out. You know, it's stale, it's cold, it's draining. You find yourselves in the Plaza of the Sun, the largest marketplace in Jarzon. Jarzon itself is a very barren land. The wars here and sort of like the exarchs of Shadow of Kern had more problems here than anywhere else. Recently, the Shadow Gates near Jarzon have started to light up once more as they did only 2 months ago in real time, and Jarzon people are fearing another demon wave. They're basically at the point where they're either willing to fight amongst each other or that the elitist higher class will push them into a conflict that they're not really interested in by gathering resources elsewhere. The price of food is higher than ever, and other resources higher than ever. You do notice many injustices and small, over-punished acts like stealing food, right? Punished with religious whippings kind of right away, or readings of sermons, spending time in cells. You get this for a while where you're, kind of gazing upon this until one of you decides it's no more and pipes up, speaking, um, kind of starting us off, our scene here in the Plaza of the Sun.
I mean, I'm like, it's no more at Redditor get home. It's not even like, oh, I've seen enough. I'm like, we need to do something because this place has always been a shit show. It's always been this shadowy, oppressive feel that Theocracy instills in its residents. Um, and Marcus will gather everybody together and kind of wait and see what is going on or what production is being put forth for the local people today to kind of keep everybody in line. He will also kind of tour guide everybody else through town and point out the district where the larger theocrats kind of stay, the church district, where the people who are at the top of the heap are, and be like, that's where we eventually need to go, where we eventually need to be. Those are the houses we need to get into. Those are the places we need to infiltrate eventually. But, we can't just kick in the door and start swinging axes. It doesn't work that way, especially not around here. But they tend to put on security theater, for lack of any better term, and theocracy theater on a regular basis down in the square. And seeing what today's theater is, and seeing if we want to make two people I know that are very good at talking that I have brought with me that look marvelous and the bartender finds very attractive, except for unlike me, who clearly did not get the job done with my scarred face. Wait and see what's going on with the central market. So we'll pass it back to our narrator and see what's going on there.
First of all, thanks TPK Roleplay for the raid. Always happy to see you. Thank you so much. We are in the Plaza of the Sun, organizing a potential coup or revolution in a theocratic land, very different from the egalitarian region that our heroes are usually used to at this point. I will say that Marcus, you're able to take a roll if you like to start scouting a little bit and kind of pointing out major landmarks, or you can take a check instead of for landmarks for like very severe goings-ons, a crime that would be unpopular if kind of spotlighted, right? Something like children going hungry and needing to steal for food, right? Something that would garner a lot of support.
I'm going to do the landmarks. In all honesty, like I have faith that whatever they put on, that the people with me are going to be able to silver tongue their way into the situation. I would much rather have our landmarks well scouted and give pockets a way in to start causing chaos if they need to.
If need be. Okay, so go ahead and roll me a perception roll with any applicable foci, about landmarks.
Would the religious intelligence lore one count for this one?
Yes.
Or no?
Yeah, for sure. I would say that you'd know which ones are actual religious buildings with heavy holdings and which ones are not.
Only an 11.
An 11. I was looking for a target number of 10, so this actually does pass. You're able to clearly identify the Great Temple, which is where a certain important person of yours is generally around. It sort of brings up a little bit of bad memory real quick, but we get away from that before we linger on it too much. Along with the Hierophant's Palace. Now, you yourself are currently, you're in the Plaza of the Sun, but you landed in Basketh Bay, which is a sort of very rough, pirate-filled kind of haven, which is very unlike a lot of the very strict society that Jarzon has going on. The reason that it's so kind of roughhousey is because many corrupted creatures actually emerge from the bay and make small attacks upon the Jarzonites at the coast. So moving away from that, you kind of know that if you need to escape somewhere, that's a great place to run off to and kind of cause some confusion. So you identify those big landmarks. Aeyla, Marle, prior to you coming together with a plan on how to persuade certain people, Zaylin is still with you. Marcus or Pockets, what are you up to prior to Aeyla and Marle really getting in there?
Pockets could be doing some scouting as well, trying to check the back routes. While Marcus is looking for specific targets, Marcus would probably be looking for avenues of escape or other ways to keep everyone safe when it comes down to getting into some good problems.
All right. Yeah, roll me that same thing, perception check, and if any applicable foci, or spells you'd like to use, please do so.
I do have
also, I'll take. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sheet is over here. Section 16.
Ooh, okay. Super high. Yeah, for sure. You specifically notice a large galleon that has the words sovereignty painted on its side, caught up at Basketh Bay, with what seems to be a Lartian citizen arguing with the local customs officer, basically. So you see a beautiful galleon that's just pulled in that would be really, really fantastic for escape at the bay where it's easy to lose people. And right now that's your best method of escape.
You said sovereign?
Yeah, the sovereign. Mm-hmm. Or I should say in total, sovereignty.
Sovereignty.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Aeyla, Marle, at this point, it is up to you to come up with some unified plan. However, I will say that apart from your regular rolls, you can also use roleplay stunts. You have enough stunt points to do so. You can also use conviction to add a major action and try to do persuasion twice or performance twice, something of the kind. So just there's a lot of ways for both of you to bonus it out right now. and give a combined result of something ridiculous.
As the other two are looking, well, you feel the presence again in your mind. It's up to you whether or not you want to push it out.
Marle doesn't. Assuming it's well, is it clear that Aeyla is the one doing it? I guess it's the stipulation there.
I think when she does it, she looks at you, kind of let you know that it's her.
Yeah, then he will allow it to interact. So
We can talk quietly this way. Nobody can hear us.
unless they can also look into my mind. Anyway,
Quick, on that note, if you do want to act carefully, I will take a sort of stealth check from both of you prior. It is the main plaza of a society of inquisitors and colonizers. You can bet your butt there are definitely people trying to get in your head right now.
Oh, so would this be stealth? Would I be able to psychic shield? What
that's
is
my
this
other
I-
like?
Could I also shaking shield?
Yes.
If that's the case.
100%. Or this is like
Okay.
actually I would say the ideal usage of it.
That is willpower, right?
Indeed.
Usually, yes.
Willpower psychic.
I do not have psychic. We do have a power.
Ooh, 13 with 3 stunt points.
So you have a total of 8 stun points.
Ooh. 13 as well with 4.
Also a
stun points.
13 with 4 stun
Yes.
points. Okay, so you have Marle, you have 9 stun points. Okay, this is great. You both get the same result. I just needed a 12, which is fine.
Okay.
So you both
Cool.
barely barely pass, and you're definitely stealth for now. So you can communicate amongst each
Gotcha.
other through psychic contact with no issue.
Okay. So we need to get these people on our side.
Okay. So
Or at least against the theocracy more openly.
okay, we can make it look like they're getting rough.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a far stretch based on what I've heard and what we've seen so far.
I can try and create some illusions as well if that would help. Those can be exhausting depending on how big the illusion is, but I can make it work.
Let's see.
A great big share of chaos.
I could try and shape one of the elements here, make it. There's a lot we could do.
Yeah, it's just how do we want to go about it. Let's see. I mean, if we want to, we can create basically like a forum. Almost be like the idea there to allow people to leverage their own experiences to help bolster this further.
If people are talking and then it looks like they get rough, that'll make them very angry. That may spark them into a riot.
Yeah, and that's what both markets and pockets are looking for. So
Oh,
I think it's a good
I
start
can
at
let
least.
you take point on that, and I can support you from the crowd if you like.
If that's how you think it'd work best, then
Are you
Agreed.
confident in your oratory skills?
I'm known to speak a good word or two.
We'll see.
Out of character, it does have focus. It does have focus and persuasion. So
I do too.
nice.
I think we're probably pretty close.
Yeah, I think we're almost the same. Technically, you're higher, yeah, but whichever.
Okay. So
Um,
I'm so far I'm getting earth shaping or shaping into something,
Hmm.
and into a place for forum, along with a speech right after, basically.
Yeah, we can make a little stage, speech, get people talking, and then make it look like the local guards are starting to rough people up and try and stir it into a riot from there.
This is such a good tactic. The
'Cause
revolution will not
the
be
crowd doesn't
on
feel like it's going to
schools.
take much to get it to that point.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's already quite a lot of unrest and injustice happening in this, uh, what they call it, a very like justice heavy society. So that's definitely not the case. Um, okay, so set up flat. Is it what kind of shaping is going to be used?
I'm going to use, because this is it's a plaza, so is it like, it's probably not dirt, but is it like stone or like what does it look like?
Yeah, there's a lot of stone. There's definitely dirt underneath the stone, which you can pull from, and there's also fountains, ornate fountains in this very, very beautiful plaza that you can also use for water shaping as well. I would also say that there's enough like vegetable matter and butcheries for flesh shaping, if that was something that you were interested in as well.
I'm not as good at that one. Um,
Meat stage.
yeah.
Look what they take
So
from you.
I can craft stone. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do, and I will tell Marle this, is so I can make you a stage. You need to get up there right away, start talking.
Mhm.
I'll use some of the
Certainly.
fountains here to make a display, get the people's attention, get everyone else to take turns getting up on the stage telling their stories.
Mm,
Pick people who look angry.
absolutely. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Out of character, real quick, because my brain is blanking on it. I apologize. Name of the city that we're currently in.
No, of course, yeah, it's Leo Garth.
Leo Garth. Okay, thank you.
Very
I
very proud. Yeah, very like proud, obtuse name of the strange connotations that no one really remembers.
gotcha. I remember Leo something, and I was like, better to have it right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do that earth shape.
So I'm going to step, if I can step out of sight, like maybe behind something, down a slight alleyway, something like that, and then focusing my psychic power into shaping the stone that's kind of in the center, wherever there's a free area, wherever Marle has set up, and I'm going to do it underneath him to just lift him up in the air without throwing him.
Okay.
Yeah, she kind of clenches her fists next to her side as she concentrates with her eyes closed. And I have to roll for it, but you feel the stone underneath you shake a little bit.
Sure.
This is Shapestone is a TN9. This is Shaping Intelligence. Ooh, that's a 21 with 5 stunt points.
Wild.
Hang on, let me look at the let me get my Arcana stunts.
Yeah, just throw it on there, right? just.
Yeah, I'm going to.
So it's definitely a pass. At this point, you could use a stunt to like. I think some stunts maybe double certain effects or magnify certain effects. That would be good. Or honestly, you could
Yeah.
just use
What do you use it?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to use Imposing Arcana.
Ooh.
So the effect is much more dramatic than usual.
Yes.
That's kind of what I want.
Yes. Okay. I posted a GIF in our Discord group chat of what I think it looks like in my head, but the wall of a building kind of in the square cracks open as flame kind of takes a pillar, and smoke starts to rise. As what kind of rises from it is one of those like snake firecrackers, and it sort of grows out from the building, and it looks like it's infinite. As as it sort of juts out and creates this like 3-tiered stage, with you hidden, and Marle at the top, and other like rows of citizens caught like in it, right? It's like some priests and guards people on the higher rung, and like common folk and merchants and like peasants basically, and just like people of the of the not of the clergy, but they are, they just follow the Church of the Pure Light's teachings. They're on the bottom rung. So
Gotcha.
it's this huge explosion. Everybody sees it, and everybody comes to a standstill. And Marle, the stage is yours.
Good day, all of you fine individuals, as you are going about your business here in the plaza. Now I might grab an ear for just a moment to bring to light some things that I find a little unsavory given current events. I would like to perhaps utilize some of the abilities that certain, or not abilities, but this is where I stop being cool, some certain events that have happened recently to many of our fine individuals here in the plaza as just moments of note but to bring to light the true nature of this theocracy and the individuals currently heading its endeavors here in Leogarth. And I will attempt to sway the crowd using a role-playing stunt.
Please.
And also lean upon the people around who also seem to be, who kind of seem to resonate with that. There is things happening here that are not good, and that sort of thing. So, utilizing communication persuasion, I believe, is the correct role for that. And then just basically that they're effective. So, 17 with 3 more stun points.
Yeah, it definitely bypasses, and then you use a stunt, right? Yeah. So specifically, many start to talk, right? Someone's finally said out loud in public amongst the Inquisitors what everybody's actually thinking out loud, right? And then you start to hear the murmurs, right? What everybody's particular gripe is all equally valid. No food, shelter, right? There's not enough resources. In particular, though, you see one person who happened to be on the stage already kind of call out, okay? And they basically start to scream out. My name is Myra Joson, daughter of the very famous chieftain of the Knights of Purity, Polak Joson. Now, Polak has not been doing what he needed. Polak is not there for Jarzon. He sits in Aldis, a puppet, and we sit here starving. Do you know how many I smuggle into Jarzon away from Kernish lands? Then he seeks not even to acknowledge their identity, but yours either. If Jarzon can turn away these people, who's to say they won't turn on you? Or in fact, that they already haven't. So this like family drama that everybody knows about gets immediately pushed to the forefront, where Myra
While this is going on, I would like to, from my little alleyway, use illusion, psychic illusion, to create angry shouts in the crowd to try and get them riled up. Just different points in the crowd, like there are people murmuring angrily and shouting angrily. It's a
fuck the Jarzon.
11.
Fuck the Theocrats.
Make it believable, but
Pocket has something as well. It's
fuck the
crowd
patriarchy. Yeah, like
frenzy that I want to do. So let me know when it's like the perfect moment, and Pockets wants to jump in with something too.
Okay. So you just do the spell. I don't think you need to hit a target number for that, right? Like I think it just happens.
If
It
to see
depends on
through it,
whether or
there's
not people are trying.
Sorry.
It depends on whether or not people are trying to see through it.
They're definitely not. As you can hear, the crowd is angry. Maybe some of the Inquisitors are, and they know it's fake, but by this point, it's too late to call it out and kind of, get them under control, and like to kind of tell them it's all safe. At this point, Pockets, while Myra is screaming at her father from across the square, Pollock, Josen, and his Knights of Purity have kind of been called out. So it's like a Gugino's It's Always Sunny moment where they're looking at each other from across the room, and is it them? Is it not? Pockets, you jump in. What?
Yeah, this raccoon comes dragging in this wooden chair, and the crowd kind of parts for him, and there's angry raccoon noises that everyone hears, but the people closest to them hear is, "Stop the patriarchy!" and he just beats the chair towards the Inquisitors.
And when he does that, I'm going to look at the Inquisitors, and if one of them has a quiver of arrows, I want to use move object to lift an arrow and throw it not at Pockets, but very close to him, to make it look like they are shooting at the crowd.
I need to roll.
Is there anything I
Let
can
me
do
see.
to assist that?
Yeah, anything, like I will take any similar, like, okay, so I got a 13. Whatever you roll, I will subtract from my roll. So if it's over 13,
Oh gosh. Okay.
it's like basically a critical failure, I'll say, for this like social, this social roll.
Do
So
I need
there's
roll as well?
yeah.
I'm gonna take a dive, make it look like I got hit. Everyone's upset about dying raccoons.
Yeah, like, fuck the patriarch. You just come with a chair, bash someone, you get taken down for it. Crowd starts going wild. Marle, you have the stage, so you can contextualize what just happened.
You're going to let these Inquisitors shut down our forum? Are you going to let them physically wound an individual who just spoke out against them with actual arrows and not words, and nothing legal but just murder? Is that what you're going to allow these Inquisitors to do as soon as we have voiced our opinions here in this forum?
At that point in time, you'll hear a hell no from the opposite side, and I'm just going to wing a rock at the Inquisitors. Like, I'm going to start the violence at that point in time.
Okay, that's a 14 on a persuasion. I would love to actually enrage the crowd with another stun for 5 stun points.
Okay. Each of you succeed, and individually this is like, nice, but in conjunction you have turned basically the entire of the capital city against like this very like corrupt, bureaucratic, more than theocratic it seems, government. And Marcus, you're like throwing the actual like first punch, you're gonna start you're gonna start the violence. What would you like? So there's a couple of people in the crowd who are identified as like VIPs. Okay, there is a great temple envoy, which seem to be some of the higher ranking clerics of the Church of Pure Light, and then there also is like the military arm of it, the Knights of Purity. So you can go after
which one is closely
spiritual
related
arm?
to the person that I have issues with? Is it? Is that
Yeah.
one? That
Yeah,
one's
yeah,
a
yeah.
clergy member. Oh, I throw it at the clergy.
Yeah.
I totally throw it at the
Yeah,
clergy.
yeah.
Like, not the knights. We throw it at the clergy.
You start throwing down on some of these priests.
I just throw a rock, and I assume the people
rock.
around me are also going to start throwing rocks, and then we're going to pull back because we're going to use this.
They're actually just
going
going to. They're actually just going to attack. The actual first ring, ironically, that attacks is actually a ring of the clergy themselves. So in times of danger like this, the clergy actually separate into a sort of pseudo caste system and separate themselves by rings of of importance. So the worst treated clergy are on the outside. So upon them getting hit, they're going to punch inwards. And they're going to like return that energy in the opposite direction towards the real subjugators, or that they consider them. They don't.
They consider them the real subjugators, even though they're just part of the system. Yeah.
Yes, and they're not overthrowing it, right?
Lighting the
Yeah,
final
Aeyla.
match. I would like to, looking at one of these armed Inquisitors that are here, Yeah. I'm going to, again, moving objects. I would like to grab their breastplate or something. And I know this is going to be against their defense and then against their might. And I want to yank one of them into the crowd like they are jumping into the crowd.
So before you do that, I want to say thank you to Dido, who hit our sub goal for today, 5 out of 5 subs. Thank you so
Dido.
much. We have
course
increased from
Dido
3
did.
conviction to yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much, Dido.
'Cause
To
it's
6
Dido, and we love
conviction.
Dido.
It's Dido, exactly. It's to 6 conviction. So you have 6 rerolls. You have 6 additional actions. Each of you have 6 self revives. Whatever you need to do. So in fact, Aeyla, I will let you do this twice. If you want to use one of those convictions to add an additional major action
Okay.
and do that twice.
Let's see if the first one works. This is against the target's defense first.
Uh-huh.
19 with
Oh,
4 stunt points.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like most armor in
And
the
then
game,
it's
most defense can't stop that. No.
and then it's against their strength might to see whether or not I can actually yank them.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a clergy
And
person,
then-
correct?
No, this is one of the guards.
Oof.
This is one of the armored
Oh,
guards.
Yeah, one of the
Against
armed
military-
guards or something.
Yeah. Nope. He said no.
Unfortunately, it seems like this particular knight has a very, very high strength. However, I will
They have
let you
stunt points.
re-roll if. Yeah. The stun points. So that second one, it totaled, right? So in total, it's like 30 something now.
No,
What's
it's one
some-
after the other.
One
it's
one
two
after
separate
the other.
rolls.
I will. Let's try it once more and see how that goes. Be a little weaker on the first time and loses. The knight loses on the second yank, so you kind of go back and forth for a little bit, and you pull them out, like into the crowd. What do you want to? Do you want to just throw them at the distributing swords in the lake is no basis for system of government crowd and watch them just eat the rich, or what's going on?
Yeah, I want it to look like he is like charging into the crowd, right? To try and quell this crowd. That's what I'm doing. I want both sides. I'm striking the match for both sides. The guards are going to see, the Inquisitors are going to see their people running in. The crowd is going to see them being attacked. Yep, I'm striking that final match.
This is full on war at this point. This is urban warfare. People start locking down. People start getting like barricades up. Like they were already like prepared for something with how like kind of oppressive the Inquisitors were already prior, and they were kind of hoping for something, but there was nothing unified like this. In just like basically less than 30 minutes, they've seen like the murder of a civilian who was a rye creature and probably like a foreigner, someone who wasn't even like a Jarzoni citizen, right? And who's like kind of got dragged into it. There's Aeyla, like with the giant stage showing off like this refugee smuggler who's related to the captain of the knights and kind of showing off that there's Jarzoni that are on that side as well. It's not like this is a Jarzoni versus us versus them, and kind of dispelling that myth outright, even though the Inquisitors really love to depend on that divide and conquer mentality. You have Marcus just throwing rocks and getting the clergy people to stop proselytizing and controlling the situation, and Marle with his great speeches actually rousing up a lot of the crowd, contextualizing it, and like for the people that can't see, kind of like a telescreen on what's going on. I probably shouldn't use that word telescreen, just for this context. So okay, at this point it's full on battle, and the knights are being pushed back to the Hierophant's palace, and the clergy are getting pushed back to the Great Temple. Already food is being distributed, and granaries or food stocks of some of the more like wealthy and bureaucratic theocrats are getting like their personal stocks raided, and everybody's like eating their fill, right? This is definitely an eat the rich situation. That guard who was yanked in like crowd surfed for a little while before getting trampled, but everybody's like, look, look at what he's doing, you know, and is like pointing off in the distance and seeing them like seeing this like knight attack people and seeing this like, you know, many pounds of armor clash into these people, and in reality I'm sure that they're fine or being healed up, you know, right away. This is by far like the biggest success that you could possibly want, and you definitely have things under control. Things start to get a little shady when, as the inquisitors, the clergy move back, so do a lot of the people like doing ritual light magic on the outskirts kind of permanently. So at this point, corruption from the Bay, as I was saying earlier, is kind of almost like a red tide situation. It's pushing in, but it's stopping there. And now that these barriers are kind of released, a lot more of this corruption is seeping into the city. Shadow gates are starting to rise. Still no demons, still no creatures, but the people are starting to get worried as they see streaks of purple across the sky. This is your time to calm them before they take this rage and direct it at each other, you know, or in fear of like the rage to come, rather than like maybe this unified moment. Because this is violence now, right? This is a group think. You can push the group think in one way, or, you know, kind of watch it dissolve in the plaza, right? And so there's not a lot of organization amongst the crowd currently.
Gotcha.
Marcus's direction would be to push the group think towards the Hierophant's castle, and we can go handle the clergy ourselves. Because basically you want the Hierophant to sign over, and then if people doing light magic to go back doing light magic, and basically you want them to relinquish power. Like that, yes. And that's only going to be done through the Hierophant. The clergy, we can clean up because they're part of the corrupt theocracy, but that's also a personal issue for Marcus. He's going to make it very clear that, like, personally, he wants to go to the clergy. So trying to get some people who are arguably this person that just spoke out against the captain of the guards and talked about smuggling, having them go lead the rest of the mob towards the Hierophant's house is the go-to.
Which she would, like, yeah. Myra definitely would, because that's where her dad is in the palace. So you're right about that.
Getting Myra to basically take charge of the crowd, talk about, you know, the only way we're going to do this is ourselves, and, you know, basically getting Myra to, like, giving Myra command / organization of the crowd, and having the crowd and Myra direct toward the Hierophant's residence.
Myra starts to call out and do her own thing, but I would be happy to take further support or actions from anybody else. Marle?
Yeah, I would say, as Marcus kind of comes up with this plan, I assume most of the people have dispersed from the original kind of platform that really Aeyla constructed. I think as Marcus and everybody in our quartet of individuals have regrouped, and Marcus goes over like if they can talk the Hierophant down, we need to deal with the clergy. This is a personal thing, you know. Marle will then kind of agree with that and go, I will find you all there. I'm going to go aim a revolution. And then he will...
You might want to get the riders with you to aim that revolution.
Oh, certainly. I wasn't going to do it on my own.
Be careful.
Of course. I won't be gone long.
The sound effects are so good.
He will then go find some of the riders who I assume are caught up in this, or at least looking at it, if not actively participating. And go find some of these, the Rhydan riders, who he's probably spent the last while with on the longship amongst the rest of the party. And
yeah, you're super close with your clanspeople.
So
Anders
will kind
is
of
totally
turn
underside still.
Yeah, Anders, I'll look at Anders and go, all right, so these people are getting a little reckless. I know we are usually more nomadic, but do you want to help guide these people to fulfilling their goals of new leadership, as well as getting the people who do the magic to keep the corruption at bay back to their stations? As you can tell, the purple sky is not a good thing, and the less time that rests over us, the less we'll have to deal with in the cleanup.
The majority of them, in fact, all of them, really say yes and say, "We are new recruits, come from other clans. We are now of the Kerala tribe. For many years, we were stigmatized and told that we weren't a real clan, that the corruption had taken that from us. But Jesa finally accepted us for who we are, and now we serve the Rosaians like any others. It would be my honor to protect the people from corruption and do the same to these oppressors that were done to us, or that were tried to do to us, but did not succeed."
Marle will do that forearm clasp with Anders as well as some of the other members. Yeah, that very much forearm clasp and go. You will always be clanspeople in my eyes. Now we have to go keep these people from killing themselves, not intentionally, obviously, but. And then he will see them off and then go return to the rest of the group as they go to the clergy.
Oh, so we're going to the palace, correct?
The riders are going to the palace with the Hierophant and the people to go overthrow the government. We're going over to the clergy to go murder other theocratic awful people on a personal vendetta for Marcus.
You get to the steps of the Great Temple as low-level and excluded clergy are being put at the forefront, almost like fodder, kind of trying to keep the crowd at bay, while a majority of the higher clergy members look on high from their balconies where they usually do their daily sermons and whatnot, as the crowd, is going wild, is frothing at the mouth and is trying to get at them. Marcus, Pockets, Marle, Aeyla, what's going on?
So from the first time that, because we know Marcus has a helmet. Marcus hasn't really been wearing it. He's been looking around. He's not really been prepared for combat. But, he puts on his helmet and clasps it down and then reaches into, the back of his pouch. And Marle has seen him, take off the lower half. There's a helmet's pieced together depending on how you do it. But he puts on, the lower half of a mouth guard that is basically just that snarling, samurai-esque demon visage. And is clearly designed to intimidate and harass. And he doesn't wear it when he's out adventuring with Errol. He doesn't, this is very much a personal, almost trophy-esque situation where he just kind of puts it on and, doesn't necessarily, takes off his pole arm and moves to the front of the crowd and looks to, Merrill and be get him riled up. I'm gonna go knock on the door. And he just kind of moves to the front of the crowd, pushing out the lower-level clergy members out of the way, because he is in, full plate. So, he is presenting in full plate, presenting as somebody who's actual warrior. Do they want to step in front of him and get stabbed? Is it worth that effort? With, somebody basically minstrelling behind him and growling the crowd up even more. And his whole goal is literally just get to the door and try to knock it in, and try to, with the help of the crowd and everybody else, knock down the front door of the Great Cathedral.
So if anybody does try to get...
Go ahead.
Anybody does try to get in Marcus's way, I'll just put them to sleep. It's an opposed roll, but these lower level clergy, I'll just use my powers to just knock them out.
You have 2 weak clerics going up, and they do try, but I would love the idea where they're and they try to scramble with these friar bull cuts, and they just tank. And just hit the stone and
all
just
over. Marcus has seen this before.
Yeah.
Take a big nap.
I think sorry.
No.
Okay. I thought there was more there. I think as they tank and fall over, Marle will kind of talk from his place, really riling up the people by just shouting up at the clergy that are looking from their balcony, and goes, "Are you really going to sacrifice the people that believe in what you're trying to sell to these people, as just watch them fall over and then get trampled by the people behind us that are going to follow us into this building? Do you want to set your members free so they may live to see another day and continue to worship the thing that you believe in some weird, twisted way to be a savior.
A post-test persuasion with me?
Absolutely.
The clergy excel. So do you! Ooh!
You excel more.
And you... Yeah. You win. They're like, but this
Yeah.
is impossible. We took care of all of you for so long. The clergy is at the heart of all charity in the city. Nothing here would run without us. You all eat because of us, right? And they try to say that like as a good thing, and you point out the obvious hypocrisies, like.
Do they eat? If they ate, why would they not be raiding all of your theocratic individuals' food stores? If they ate, they would not be behind us, angry and upset at your leadership.
Lastly,
Totally will emphasize his points by banging on the door with the back with like
yeah.
pole
You're
arm.
slamming
Every
at
time
it.
he like makes a point, just the thump, thump.
You're this close. You're this close to breaking it in, but it's very large. It's still locked. You're having a hard time. Finally, last desperate ditch effort. The higher clergy comes out at the balcony and they finally start their sermon. My name is Archdeacon Edwards. Marcus.
So he's up on the balcony?
Immediately. Yeah.
Oh
he
yeah.
is.
Okay.
And he's accessible. Marcus, he's
Sick.
immediately recognizable as the figure in question.
Yep.
Prior
Mhm.
to anything happening and anybody's pulling some I murder super quick, which I know is like this close.
No, I understand. I understand.
Maybe
I wanted
not
to
just you, Marcus.
pontificate for a moment.
Yeah.
I
There are others who
understand
want-
you want to
okay, yeah. Yeah,
Yep,
he
not a bad one.
he will pontificate for a moment. He will call out and be like, arms out, widespread. Lastly, and the crowd finally starts to calm very, very slightly just because of the authority of this particular person. The Archdeacon speaks out, calm, my children. You are worried, you are anxious, but you must not abandon the clergy in a time such as this.
Your children? Talk about how you abandon your children, Father. Don't call these people your children when you can't even take care of your own. When you leave your own flesh and blood in the slums with nothing. Don't pontificate and lie to these people.
He immediately recognizes who you are. Yeah,
Mhm.
like
Does he go a little white? Does he go a little sheepish?
Yeah. Like he like starts to sweat. His like giant deacon hat. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen like beginning of Castlevania season 1 on Netflix, but that's totally, this person was very haughty, very very prideful, and now is gasping upon like the demons and horror of his own past. He's treated others in discriminatory fashions and put others in caste systems that unnecessarily. There's no justification for what this person is doing. He says, "Pay not attention to the peasant who yells from the street, but at the shadow gates at our call. Who will stop the demons if not for the clergy? Look upon the purple now coming from the bay. The wave comes." And then finally, okay, a loud roll, a loud thunder cracks at the bay as a wave finally pushes in. This was in the direct pockets. You have a perfect view, okay? Everybody thinks that this is like some wild demon thing, but you actually verify that it's really just the sovereignty fully docking, right? And it just made a really loud noise. So it actually has nothing to do with demons. Finally, everybody's quiet. The street is open. Two lone figures, one assisting the other, come from the bay forward. 1 second. It is time for two familiar faces. I'm sorry, I should clarify. Three familiar faces to appear immediately at walking down the street. These are none other than Corvo and Shagar, previous members who fought off to save Jarzon from the Shadow Gates and have seemingly re-emerged from them with no demons. The Archdeacon's completely full of shit. Corvo and Shigar, such a pleasure to see you both again. What's happening with Corvo and Shigar?
Corvo holding on to Shigar for support. I believe you have done well. Yeah, we survived, yes? Where are we? I can't see a thing.
I believe Shigar might be muted. Perhaps it might just be...
Now it is. No, not.
Oh, yeah. It's perfect.
It appears we have arrived into another fight of some kind.
Well then. The Ravenswood has not deemed me worthy of any visions. I do not see what's happening next. Are we about to die again?
The Archdeacon screams, "Look! Demons! There! There they go!"
Oh,
All right, enough talking.
never mind. I
Shigar
know where we
finally
are.
takes her hood down.
Yeah, it's just like a normal night person. It's just like a very nice night person.
Yes,
You
I
two.
remember that voice.
As do I.
You went into the gate.
That we
I
did,
did.
priest.
You died for us. I ordered you to enter, to sacrifice yourselves.
We did
You
many
did
times.
do just that, yes.
Surely.
We came very
Abominations. Lies.
close. Well, I've been called many things, but abominations is not one of them. I can assure you, priest. There are no demons to be coming out of these gates. Shigar here has saved you all.
Saved.
Maybe
Saved
not
how?
everybody.
Yeah.
I was not
The
alone.
demons. The source of the demons. The darkness that resides beyond these portals. They have been closed. These are echoes. The remnants.
Are you saying there's no actual demons? Are you saying that none of this was caused by corruption? This is purely the will of the people? The Archdeacon yells out incredulously.
I'm saying you're wrong. That these are in fact not demons.
Children, don't listen to these monsters. Slay them in the streets like the monsters they are. He like points at Marcus specifically, who's like banging on the door. He's like, "Strong one. I remember you. If you have a shred of love for your family, for country, you will slay these demons."
If you have a
like the
shred of
worst.
decency, you will remember what I did for you just a few days ago in Aldis.
Can
It's
pockets
been
be used-
months. I'm sorry. Go
He
ahead.
has a problem remembering
Pockets just behind him.
night people. He seems to have them slip from his mind like a sieve.
I believe we may have come at an interesting time then. Months, you
Well,
say?
Months. Monsters, surely you must be. You were thought long dead.
We were just in there
It has
2
been
days.
merely a few days.
Lies. Magic. Manipulation. Sorceries. Corruption. And he like calls out, like he like flinches at the night person comment. He like is so unwilling to acknowledge like his discrimination. that he
I would suspect.
he continues to try and sick others on you.
Before too long,
Marcus will.
these gates shall disappear to the winds, as if they never existed.
But you need us.
Marcus.
We protect you from
Marcus
the
will
demons.
look at
And then
Aeyla. Marcus will look at Aeyla and give the can you give me a lift thing because she made the stage earlier, and just be like, I'm done talking. Just propel me up onto the dais.
I can give you a lift. Or I can bring him down here.
No, give me a lift. I want to see how many of them jump once I get up there.
I will. I'll shape Earth then. Earth shape, lifting the stone up to give Marcus a lift up.
Shigar and Corvo are given food, goods, warmth, prayer beads, like prayer slips, like seals, and just all manners of like hugs and thank yous. It's very clear to about half the crowd who are so thankful to see their savior's return. I mean, literally, this is still the Plaza of the Sun, or like it's nearby. If you look to the left, there is a literal statue of Shigar, like chiseled, like out there, which many city planners fought as it displays a lower class non-Jarzoni knight person. And there's been no precedence for this, but the son of Pollock Josen, the older brother of Myra, and the older brother of Zalen is in fact Valen, who is just a little bit behind you. Valen, Keen, and Aspen. Keen and Aspen being basically the first mate and captain of the sovereignty, push out as well, and Valen kind of makes it to the square and starts to calm some of the people still in the Plaza of the Sun, basically stragglers, and kind of like point them towards the Hierophant's palace and say, but if you're willing to fight this on a spiritual level, please follow the true saviors, Corvo and Shigar. As Valen continues to use his diplomatic power to push Corvo and Shigar as the saviors that actually are really behind, Jarzon's success, not this foolish upper class taking everything they can and exploiting what they consider to be lower classes. Aeyla, your earth shaping is perfect. As Marcus, you are free to go up there as basically the John Quill crew has things under control.
He pretty much does the exact opposite of what Marlon did. Instead of being pushed up, he kind of like wants the land and like lands, kind of looks up at the clergy and snarls and tells them to run, and starts making a beeline towards the Archduke.
You go right for the Archdeacon. As you expected, several fall, and the crowd is perfectly within their confines to catch them, and in fact, they split like hydrophobic molecules with water poured on them. It is poisonous to touch these as they unfortunately hit the ground, and their blood runs the grout of the Plaza of the Sun red. I will allow... Oh, I shouldn't put it that way. Corvo and Shigar, you have a moment to make your case with Valen and speak to the Plaza of the Sun and other Jarzonites about what you did and what happened back in Aldis, before we will leave it to Weak Poppy to figure out what's going on.
I guess I was about to say a few days ago, Corvo and I, months, I guess, entered the gates, and there were demons that we were able to slay, and our team did not make it. It was only the two of us. And it was by the skin of our teeth that we were able to open one of the echoed portals.
I sense that in the months that have passed, strife has weeded its way through the people here, with the priests claiming their supremacy and protection over all. I can assure you, it was the power of man, friends, who won this day. If you need belief, so be it, but do not let it control you. You all have the power within yourselves, yes. Follow that power, and you shall win the day as we have. Muted.
I'm muted. Ah! The crowd starts like screaming. They follow their literal savior, Shigar, who's like holding this like blind also savior who like lost his sight tragically in in this accident, right? And like this is just like the best possible way to garner public support is to in one fell swoop exemplify the corruption and inadequacies of a system of government like this, and like kind of expose them for trying to martyr like actual saviors who are still alive and perfectly fine as a way of keeping their piece of power. Marcus, this all comes to a head as Valen, Shigar, and Corvo lead others to safety, to food, to organization, and Aspen and Keen start to take refugees with the help of Myra and getting them ready to port back to Aldis. You approach the Archdeacon as his clergy is falling before his eyes. This is impossible. I left you. I left you and your mother.
Yeah,
You don't even know how she
did.
died, do you? She died a servant, the way that she was born. And it's what she was meant for. She died happy. Thankful that she never saw, her disgrace of a non-order following, non-clergyman son.
She died a believer. I can't say the same for you. And he'll just run him through the end of the pipe.
Fuck yes! Fuck yes! No roll required. This is not the time for I mean, you can if you want to do big damage, but yeah. It's you
No, I don't need to roll big damage.
Archdeacon.
Much better roleplay moment.
You murder this Archdeacon as the clergy has completely fallen apart. People start,
and he'll lean in close to him, like in his ear, as he's clearly dying. And her name was Lily, you son of a fucking bitch. And that's the last thing I'll say to him.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I literally was like, he forgot her name because he cared so little. So like, you read my mind. That was ideal. My heart. He falls in his lavish, ornate drapery as his frail, old man body, basically, just falls to the ground off the balcony as the rest of the clergy run in horror. They are unwilling to use offensive magic to fight you at this point, and with the rest of the people flooding in, taking what gold and ripping it, stripping it from the walls that they can, like this is where their food money went into, like they're done for. Like the Grand Temple is collapsing, and Jarzon will be reformed one way or another. You get back down, and you have a moment to discuss amongst your friends, amongst Aeyla, Pockets, Marle, Shigar, and Corvo. To kind of talk about how you feel before we move on.
He actually doesn't come back down. He heads into like the Grand Temple, where like his mother used to like light a candle and pray and be a servant. And he like
oh my God.
lights a candle and just kind of sits down and like waits for everybody, like waits for people to rate, like make sure Pockets steals everything he wants to steal, and he very much just kind of sits and waits.
You're like at that on those pews.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
On those pews, Jason Bourne moment with the sniper.
Yeah, he just kind of looks at Aeyla and goes, well, now you know what kind of my personal business. But
yeah. I'll walk over and give him a hug. Once everyone's done in here, I can try and bring this building down if you like.
Keep the building up. Let it get repurposed. Let it get reused. I'll try to hopefully talk to Shigar at some point in time when they're done doing all their things and see what we can do for the city. But I'm not a good planner. I'm a good fighter, and this was super personal. I'm kind of done for a minute, so I'm just gonna chill out here and call it a night. And he'll basically make sure the building isn't destroyed, but make sure it is totally looted. Like, anytime that somebody is like, I can't find anything, he'll help them tear it down so they can take something nice.
Yes.
But he
oh my
make sure the
god.
building isn't destroyed. It's much like
And-
the guts, don't knock it down, because if you knock it down, you'll forget. We should never forget type situation.
And you sit there at the pews. On your what was always meant for you in one way or another is now finally yours. And you have the peace you always wanted for your mother Lily and yourself. We will wait a while before getting back to Marcus and see what's going on there. If Marcus even chooses to rejoin at all, it's perfectly understandable after the murder of your own father, regardless of relationship, that you take your time. Aeyla, Marle, Pocket, Shigar, and Corvo, you have a moment to discuss amongst yourselves about what just happened before pushing to the Hierophant's palace and potentially ending the Jarzonites' reign of religious terror.
What have we missed, eh?
Not a whole lot. I got a new hat. Pockets is put on the Deacon's new or old hat. It's just his now. Well,
How?
you got a nice
how
hat
are,
there too.
How are? As she's holding Corvo up, and people are still coming up to her trying to give her stuff, and she's not. She hasn't taken any of it. Unless someone offers a knife, then she'll take it because knives.
Pockets is going to take
How-
anything that Shigar is denying.
How are people here starving if it's only been 2 months since Aldis?
That is a question for the people. But food is not a common thing here.
Valen.
Valen looks at you and is like, although my funds went into re-establishing the best I could in Jarzon, the plutocrats here, or they call themselves theocrats, took what they could for themselves and left none for the people who keep them afloat. This is a tale as old as time, and nothing I could do about it. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, and I was in Jarzon for other reasons, along with Aspen and Keen on the sovereignty. I was here for the Shadow Gates, for you and Corvo. I had hoped, even, that if I came here to the Shadow Gates that you sacrificed yourselves at, that I may find a piece of you. I was never hoping to return home with you. But my homeland, what Myra, what Zalen tried to create, my father Pollock would not let us have. If you remember, he was the same Jarzonite who fought us at our conference. Anyway, we were lost, but without these brave warriors, I have no idea what we would have done.
Well, it seems as though you have won the day. Congratulations.
Well, we still have quite a lot. The Hierophant has not left his palace. Hylan Karis lives, hiding behind his Knights of Purity, behind my father Palak. Myra, Zalen have already escaped. Aeyla, thank you for your assistance. Aeyla speaks to Valen and is like, you guys know each other kind of moment, and Valen does tell Aeyla, I appreciate you watching after Zalen. I heard that she got you on a Rizaean longhouse in Aldis. Well, we saw them at the shore, and they were defending against us, but, we're not scary or anything. And the Rizaeans, along with Anders, come up to Marle and, and Anders puts his puts his arm over you once again, and is like, oh, we're good. We can focus on the palace now.
All
I
right.
may be able to help people
And-
get in.
Ooh. And Valen
Getting
says
in
to
is
Aeyla,
my
"Please."
specialty.
Yeah. Oh, this is the
Corvo.
dream. Shigar and Aeyla together. I'm crying right.
If it wasn't for my
Corvo
ears, her
will,
hood would be up.
Corvo will pat Shagar on the shoulder. I think I can walk on my own now. Thank you. Getting in is not my specialty. Not right now. I will, however, help the people as I can. Go. Secure this place and save these people from whatever evil has beset upon them.
Very well. No trying to do something stupid again. I will come after you.
Well, I believe you are short a knife, and he'll pull out the one you had gifted, in case you need this one.
Hmm? I'm gonna have to lose it now, aren't I? Shakes it. And
No.
She puts it in her
I
sleeve gauntlet.
think you'll get to keep this one.
It's so
I
sweet.
I do know we will not
Sweet.
see each other after this. However, I believe you'll return to your ship, yes?
No, I'm gonna go back to the Tavern Wield. I have another friend
Very well.
lost that needs to be found.
I remember. Yes. They will need you soon. Go. Save people. Do not worry about me. Good luck to all of you.
So Corvo stays, helping civilians and humanitarian efforts in the Plaza of the Sun, while Shigar runs back into basically the arms of Aspen and Keen, back to the Sovereignty and off to the Pavan Wield. I will, in a heroic flair, while Valen stays behind to assist in their homeland as well. Thank you so much to Dido and Mr. Smith for coming on and reprising your roles as Shigar and Corvo. I loved it so much, seeing that kind of unification across Westmarch's sessions. And Weak Poppy could not have done it without you. So thank you so much, Tonquil. We will head back to Aeyla, Marle, Pockets, and Marcus. Aeyla, you said you had a strategy for getting inside. How are you going to... the entire city is basically now in a moment of recovery, down from the hype that they had, but it is still well controlled by the now, I would say before they were known as the rebellious faction, but now it's kind of like the primary faction. So this primary new Jarzonite faction has kind of still taken control of the city, and they're still kind of at your disposal. So you can re-incite them whenever you're ready. Everybody's free to discuss amongst themselves.
So the leaders are currently locked inside of the palace. We'll defend it, I'm sure, but I think I can take down a wall or two, possibly. Make a doorway for people to get in.
Nothing like an unexpected entrance.
I need you to watch my back, though. It's take a lot of effort.
I can do that.
The riot started and stopped very quickly there. So Marcus will kind of come out after people have already kind of dispersed, clearly putting himself back together, and look around and realize that the Hierophant's palace is still up and running, and be like, looks like we still have work to do.
They have hold up there, yes.
I think it's time to go crack that shell then. I heard
At this
Aeyla mention
point,
something
I
about
would
knocking
say,
the wall down.
yeah, I'd say that Ayla's plan is currently the primary, with Pockets being the one that probably uh, could take point in terms of visibility or getting ready for traps and whatnot. So let's try for an Aeyla Pockets combo, where Aeyla blows up something, Pocket heads in, Marle behind, and Marcus after that. And so, was there like a TN or anything there, or do you just like, I destroy building, I cast
No,
destroy?
it's actually a pretty high TN. It's not one to laugh at.
Ooh. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so heading over there,
Conviction.
I think I will link arms with Marle, just kind of finally having him back as we head over there. She looks kind of nervous, but as we get over there, what does the palace look like?
Real quick, I will dispense some conviction before our final thing. But you just reminded me. For that moment of pure optimistic love, please receive a conviction acting in favor of your lover's major arcana. That you finally gotten your brother back. Marle, the same for you. The chariot who has stood behind Aeyla, even behind all of these just absolutely wacky plots, and you're doing fantastic. Like just just kind of vibing with it and really helping your sister any way you can. So you get one for that. Pockets. I would say that you have done a lot to judge the fates of others, and in fact have already changed. Made many a priest atone in ways that they only could proselytize or claim that they did. So you get one for that. Marcus, you literally killed the archdeacon, so you are definitely lowering the lofty position of those above you, right? Or where they consider themselves to be, and in reality, we're always below you and are now in the dirt. So everybody's going to receive a conviction for that. Aeyla, you can, if it's a high TN, you can use several conviction. Like you can use 3, I would say, like 1 to do an additional major action, and then 2 conviction to re-roll both if both fail, right? Kind of thing. So you can use a bunch of conviction on this if you want to do it. So I think with that it'll probably work out, but so that'll be probably like 4 of your 7 conviction and 3 left over if you happen to use all of them, but you might not have to.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see how this roll goes. And Pockets, you can
So I have to
preemptive. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say Pockets, you can preemptively, assuming that this works, you can start thinking about, what kind of role you'd like to do upon getting in there, whether it's aggressive or sneaky or performative or whatever.
I don't know how much room there will be for sneaking after this. Yeah, so I have to get within 30 feet of the wall. So is that even possible? Or do we need to fight our way that close?
I would say that the exterior is like basically, like locked up at this point. Like they're inside, but you have total control.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get within 30 feet of the wall. I'm going to look back at Marle. Okay.
You got this.
Here we go. I'm going to drop down to my hands and knees, and I'm going to push my hands down into the ground. And I'm going to attempt to earth shape an earthquake.
Oh shit!
Which
This is awesome. I cast
TN
earthquake.
17 shaping test,
Ooh.
which is really high.
For 3d6, it definitely is, even if your bonus is high. Almost.
Okay.
You can take another major action, or you can re-roll that one with the conviction.
I'll re-roll that with a conviction, and then I may try it again after this.
Yeah.
Okay. She sits back, breathing hard for a second. and looks,
M-
stares up at the wall for a second, and
Marle
then leans forward
will-
again and tries even harder. Being determined.
Marle will kind of sit down next to her and go, looks pretty close. I think you can do it. Give it one more shot.
Okay. Using conviction. Another 16.
Can you
My
burn?
whole heart right now.
How do points from
I was like, can you
bond
burn?
work?
Yeah,
Does that
that's
have to be a
the-
success?
I would say that I would be more than happy. You still have enough stun points. You can just take. I'm pretty sure there's one stunt that would just like add an extra an extra D6 or extra D8 to your roll, or might just give you like a +1. Anything that would give you a single 1 bonus would be would be
you can
applicable.
you can do powerful channeling, which is basically just the number of SP you spend up to 4 just increases your number by that much.
Then that's
Awesome, yes.
Yeah,
And I get a
then
bonus to
boom.
that, so it's actually I get +2 per one.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah. So I will.
You'll blow up past the
absolutely-
wall. There was someone on the other side, and just hitting it would have been like, enough to crumble it down. But it is enough to blast through it, including the person. So,
Yeah.
take
I
it
do
away.
12d6. Do you want me to roll that?
God,
Please do.
System, that's so much damage.
Let's just see. Let's just. Yeah, I know. Let's see this big damage.
53 points.
This high level, beautiful paladin falls to his death as Valen's father, Palak Josen, Myra's father, Zalen's father, someone that you might have even considered your uncle in an earlier age, is dead in front of you. You have successfully killed the knight captain of the Knights of Purity, and they are breaking rank, at least to some extent. Do you share a moment on this, or do you literally step on him and keep going without a second thought? Which it's fine.
I think as the side of this palace comes down, she just sits back again, breathing hard.
See? Told you could do it.
Kind of leans over and bumps shoulders with Marle. Thank you.
Of course.
Slight interruption.
finish
Thank
this.
you so much. Oh, sorry. Thanks so much to Hananon Raid for your 4. We are currently having our wonderful mage Aeyla blast a hole in the wall and murder her uncle, and then be like, "Yo, that was slick." So that's basically exactly what just happened, which is great, and I'm all for it because he's a fucking plutocrat. Yeah, and then what happens next, Aeyla?
We should finish this. Marcus, I think you're up.
Actually, it would be Pockets who was taking point at this point.
Sorry. Pockets.
No, you're good.
Marcus just gives quick finger crossbows and then slips into the hole. I'm going to go about
Finger
with stealth.
crossbows?
Yep. Aren't invented. I
Do you
can't.
not have,
They do not have
do you
that.
not have finger crossbows? Do you not have those?
I can't use weapons, so no. I got claws. But there we go. It didn't. 10. Oh,
Oh,
no,
10, it
sorry.
says,
I can't.
yeah.
It's so light. I can't see the 15.
Can you-
Excuse me.
Properly take into consideration the dark mode's light text on the backgrounds of. So you
It's
just
so
have to.
bad.
Yeah. You can sort of
There we
flip
go.
over to. Yeah.
That is definitely strange. You do get a 15. It's a very high stealth roll. So you're able to really sneak in there and see the Hierophant kind of crying on his throne and discussing amongst other knight people and nobles. about what to do next. So you have a word. You can, from this range, psychically connect with Aeyla and tell Aeyla what's going on, and Aeyla can relay it to Marcus and Marle.
Hey, so Pockets here. How you doing? Got a good sight on him. There's a couple of them sitting around. A big guy in the chair. He looks really upset about what's going on. You want me to do anything to make a distraction before you guys come in? I got like 2 fish left.
Okay. I'll turn and look at the other 2. Pockets has sights on the ruler. He can make a distraction if we want.
Sure. Let's have him jump out of his skin.
Pockets, yeah. Use the 2 fish however you want.
All right. Okay. So, from his stealthy vantage point, Pockets is going to distract these people who are doing a discussion, and he's going to do the thing where raccoons do, like the little tumble roly-poly forward, and he's just going to appear, and he's just going to roll, and he's going to make raccoon noises and present these fish. He's going to look at one, kind of nibble on it. He's going to act like he's just a normal raccoon, and then he's going to fling one directly at the leader. Just fish him, just hit him square in the face with a fish.
Too bad they were iced. Instantly and kills the guard captain that you slid at as an ice pick. Unfortunately, made of sardine. Just ice picks his goes down. And this like world leader, this renowned warrior is like on his knees, like crying, and says, "I, the Theocracy, my patriarchy, will not be felled by a common farm beast like you." Like, just full mask off, just like he's, just a piece of shit. Like, no doubt about it. Has always been, always will be. And he basically goes on to say, "This is why I've been more repressive with Jarzon in recent years. Things like this, demons, shadow gates, rye creatures, lower castes, and non-light following people thinking they can do whatever they want. And Jarzon knows better." Marle, please.
As he's monologuing,
Yep.
can I just casually draw out the longbow and then notch an arrow just quietly in the back while he's monologuing to Pockets? Just slowly draw it back and then just let it go.
I would love that. In fact, if multiple of you have ranged attacks, you can also kind of do your ranged attacks all at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah, standing there. There are a selection of coins and small like gemstones rotating in the air around Aeyla, and she's going to fling one of those coins at him at the same time that Marle does his arrow.
Bing!
Marcus is gonna throw the pipe because it's a one-hander and it has a throw range.
How can you put elitist head on pikes if you don't have a pike?
Right, exactly. But I feel like Marcus is also going to count it down, so they all do it together, like it's a team building exercise. Like go and like just
Absolutely.
on perfect sync. A tri-frame like anime shot appears with Aeyla's coin, Marle's longbow, and Marcus's pike launching all at the same time, while Pockets is just like raccoon noises. Like,
Perfect.
I feel like they have to hit in like the order of smallest to largest, so it's like a coin goes through his head, and then he gets an arrow to the throat, and then it's a pike in the chest.
Yeah. I would love that.
Should we roll?
I assume we do actually need to roll for this. I assume we definitely need to roll for this.
Has this guy ever been to a farm? Yeah, he thinks you can milk raccoons. He's never been to a farm. I should clarify. Sorry, what?
I just want to spend one stun point for pierce armor for the arrow.
Okay, yes, super good for him. Because he's wearing heavy armor, it would reduce it by 8, so that's really good for you, yeah.
Yeah.
I will do the
I'm,
same because we have stun points.
Mhm.
Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
I'm gonna do the same thing. Mine is affected by outcome. So it's every 2, so I've doubled the outcome. So mine's gonna do 3d6. I'm gonna do that armor.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Oh no!
Wait, what is his defense? I'm sorry.
Yeah, his defense is currently 13.
-8 from the. Is that with the -8 or
So-
without the -8?
So that's actually
So,
like
defense is
that's not
rolled-
defense.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yes. No, you're good. Yeah, defense is like armor class, and then
Okay.
like there's like damage reduction, which is like armor. So defense being armor class, like you're a little bit off, but again, if you wanted to
Okay.
use something
Yeah,
to like
I will
conviction, to do a major action,
burn a
something like that.
convention. Yeah, I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll do convention to do a reroll.
Okay,
you go.
well, yep.
And am I with it?
Well-
What is this person's dexterity? Another question.
Yeah, low because of the full set of plate. I would say that it's
Gotcha.
like 3.
Okay. Cool. So if it's 3, then I can add a d6 to my damage.
Nice,
I'm
nice.
Yes.
Spend the rest of my stunt points to do lethal.
I would also like to also inflict that as well with my 6 that I just generated, if that's okay.
multiple stunts.
So,
I mean, I generated 5, so I feel like I should just follow suit at this point
Yeah,
in time. Like, why don't we all? Like, why are we all not just doing the same thing? That seems like a good idea.
yeah.
My 5d6 from my coin did 17 points of damage, armor piercing.
That's awesome.
Cannot
Very
reduce it
powerful
at
coin.
all. Yeah, extremely powerful coin. This is like One Punch Man level of coin throwing. Throw it at the moon, hole in the moon.
I
like-
mean, I assume it was Magneto X-Men First Class level. Just goes slowly through the head. Out.
That's probably what I was thinking of in the background. I just said Saitama, but yeah. So, okay, so 17 total for Aeyla. How much total for Marle, and how much total for Marcus, accounting lethal and...
21 from Marle, and counting from lethal
21.
and the print point attack.
I'm not cool enough for attack. I have to check to see what my damage is, because my polearm doesn't actually deal a bunch of damage. It just lets me do lots of extra attacky things.
Yes.
So give me just a moment. Increasing it to lethal adds how many dice on the stunt? I don't have that page
2d6.
up right now.
You're good. 2d6 is what you get for that.
Thank you.
In
Thank
extra.
you very much, good sir.
Absolutely.
All right, so I will deal 3d46 plus 3. No, 3d6 plus 3. Only 11. Can I use a conviction to reroll that too? Anything?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll reroll the damage, because rerolling damage is better.
Please.
15.
Oh, I'd
That's a
like
much
to
better
re-roll mine then.
Yeah. And then I'll just take the
Low
highest. Yeah,
average.
that's what conviction is for. Great. No, that's awesome. Thank you, Dido. Dido, you killed Shigar. You helped kill effectively.
Oh no, that's
Do I have to
worse.
take the second? I don't know how I
No,
rolled
no,
9
no.
on 5d6.
No, it's okay. You can take the
Just go
highest.
for
No, yeah,
twos and
that's
a one.
ridiculous. What? That's wild. It
Well,
is-
20 was like no.
Roll 20 was like,
I'll
Oh,
take the
that's so
17.
weird. Yeah. The 17's
Alright.
fine. Okay, for a
Hmm.
total.
One.
Let's see. I am not the greatest at math. Okay, for a total of 53 damage, this world leader, this mighty paladin, now aged, fallen in his own way, will fall to eye level, looking at pockets, right in the eyes. The coin hits, then the arrow in the throat, and the pike in the chest going upwards. As it starts to peel out, staring right into Pocket's eyes, his crown falls on top of Pocket's trilby, and the last holder, the rightful ruler of Jarzon, currently according to Crown, is Pockets, who has stolen himself a nation state. Yeah, like donning the crown. please take this last hit to finish off Hylan Karis in any way you wish, and put an end to the Hierophant's reign. Which, by the way, glad nobody got Hierophant Major Arcana here, because that would have been awkward, but, nobody got it, so. Yeah, thanks.
Hey,
I had.
Marcus, you want to take this one?
Sure. Marcos will walk up and take his axe from his waist and kind of just look at him. You probably shouldn't tell people they're lower than you when you can't stand. And then he'll remove his head from his body.
Should have gone for the head. Oh wait, I did. Oh wait, I actually did. This person is dead now.
Yep.
You decapitate this person as Hylan falls to the floor. The Hierophant is dead as the guards have fallen by the wayside. Pollock is no longer there to guide them, buried under the rubble that Aeyla exploded just a bit earlier.
Then I'm going to do the bad thing, which is I'm going to get some rope. I'm going to tie it around the former ruler's leg, and I'm going to throw him off the edge of the balcony, so he's headless hanging off the edge of the balcony.
Yes,
and
let's
so everybody knows he's gone.
Still got the pike in him, by the way, I imagine, so he's still piking.
No, I take the pike. I mean, I take.
Oh, you take it?
the
You take
pike.
it. Okay.
I take the pike. It's a headless body wearing all his garb.
Wow.
What's extra measure?
Is there a
Darts.
guard around who happens to have a long spear of some kind? Not Marcus's pike, but
Yes.
another pike-like object.
Yeah,
you can
there's another
pike.
bar, there's another bar, very like bougie Bardiche wearing user. Bardiche user.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Yes. Pick it up, take the head, stab it on, and after Marcus throws the body off, Marle will just put the head up right next to it on that balcony.
on the balcony.
Wedging
Yeah,
it.
spreading
Yeah.
out so that they're like
to-
disconnected.
I'm going to
Aeyla.
shape light around the head to give it a glow.
And this
Why would-
Constantinian halo appears around this like dead religious. I shouldn't laugh, but like
All right,
around this
I gotta
dead
add
religious leader.
something too. I gotta add something.
Yeah. But his pocket's gonna.
Pocket before the head gets
Rag on the
great.
tyrant.
This is gonna put his secondary fish in its mouth so that the fish is hanging out. Yeah, naturally.
Makes sense.
That's-
Got it.
Hell
Done. Good stuff right there.
He died doing what he loved, eating luxury fish. In fact, you did get these for a very steep it would have been for a steep price from Jimmy. You know that these are high quality meats, so to them it's just another symbol of his decadence, right? So he died eating. He didn't die even fighting. He just had his garb on and he died hiding in his castle, right? The crowd loses it. Valen, Corvo, Shigar's already left, but Valen and Corvo, who are still there, are happy leading the rest of the humanitarian efforts as everybody starts to basically enact a parade celebrating the death of the Hierophant and basically signaling an entire new era of Jarzoni life. Pockets sits upon the throne currently with this crown. Whether that stays or not as a rite of succession will be seen after tonight. But for now, Pockets, the first and ever, so there's like a, it cuts to
Pockets first of
Pockets,
his name.
Marcus. Yeah. Marcus, Pockets, Marle, and Aeyla enjoying each other and and having spreading the love, the wealth, and redistributing all of this, finally giving the people what they need and making sure everybody's safe. And then a portrait of every old white man that ever ruled this place and no differentiation thereof. And finally, just this one portrait of this weirdly smiling raccoon with some frozen sardines and a crown and some finger crossbows in this portrait. Pockets first of his name, right?
Pockets, the last king. He admonished the throne to the people, allowing for our different city-state. That's exactly what's going to happen.
it's like a bigger portrait than everybody else because it's like how loved
Yeah.
he is for that particular reason.
Mhm.
And each of you are granted a seat on the soon-to-be Democratic Council of New Jarzon in a complete twist for Jarzon domestic policy and how they'll approach the rest of the world. This is a you have like in no uncertain terms completely reshaped like the future of Aldis and Aldia like by doing so, and may have prevented religious wars in the future just by doing this. And I think that's where we will leave off for tonight's session.
Man. I had one really important
Marcus.
question.
Yeah, please.
What nation state doesn't like us overthrowing this awful patriarchal society because they clearly aren't cool, and we have to start talking about how we don't like them? Just leaving that out there, you know.
Yeah, whoever's not okay with this is like definitely should have their shit reevaluated. The Kern recently had their shit checked, so Kern also went through a similar revolution recently, and they're doing pretty well, even though Kern was Jarzon's ancestral enemies. Yeah, like there's no reason to be scared of night people, everybody. Like, pretty obvious.
Yeah.
The main nation state that is against this act is the matriarchy of Lartia, who is worried that a shift to a gender egalitarian society may spell their doom for their caste system and matriarchal society as well. So that's
They should probably
That's
check
who needs to
themselves
watch
before they wreck themselves.
before you get like these government crackers coming in and toppling oppressive governments. Like, I fucking love it.
I'm not fit to rule. I'm way more Eric Killmonger than I am T'Challa. Let's be real clear. I'm here to destabilize the system and take it down.
Let's do it.
Being
That's
council
exactly
members what
what
Aeyla
happened.
trained her life for.
Yeah, Aeyla gets all she wants. That's what happens when you end up in a cave with a dude who doesn't like you for, 4 weeks and have to survive. Then you become BFFs.
Something.
You get to end up
and
ruling
focus
over a
in
completely
cave
separate country.
with a box of scraps.
I'm just here to
like,
organize.
something.
I'm just here to help organize night people and half night people into revolts against oppressive governments. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm here to do.
That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to create a racial safe haven and egalitarian society across the world. What's not to love? There's a reason this is called the Golden Age of Aldia for a reason, and the falling of the Jarzon theocracy is no like small step towards like true freedom for all peoples in this world of Blue Rose. That was our week 7 Poppy game of Blue Rose West Marches. What an absolute amazing finish. Jarzon will not be the same, and anybody playing Jarzon in these West Marches games for the rest of the campaign will have to understand that this is actually new Jarzon, and they don't represent what they think it might represent. They still follow the light, and there's still some discussion on whether the primordials are really the true lords or their version of the Seven are. But as far as you can tell, like, there's a separation of church and state. Okay, you do not have to follow the Church of Light in order to eat food and be guaranteed housing and healthcare, right? Like, clerics just are clerics, and you don't need to be a part of the clergy in order to use their services. Aeyla will have a definite ruling position on this council. Marle, I'm sure will have one if he likes, but even if he absconses it, Aeyla and Marle will never be separated after this, right? They finally found each other, and on the first adventure, like, absolutely destroyed like all and any opposing forces to the true love that was them, right? A chariot and a lovers together. This is what happens when you get chariot lovers and pockets for judgment. Clearly, the king has judged Highland, and he was found wanting. Marcus also brought down like the literal like establishment in the form of the tower. So everybody successfully completed their arcs, and I love to see it. I can't wait to see what everybody's characters do in the later sessions, and we will move into outros. Hi everybody, it was an absolute pleasure running Blue Rose for you again another week. My name is Anthony, he, him pronouns, if you did not hear me earlier. You can find me on Twitter at Prainntheplague. They're on the Twitterverse where I stream mostly on Weave the Tale, and I'm reposting usually what Weave the Tale is posting because I love it here. I play Symborum with Paul, not going to forget Paul and Symborum games ever, due to another time. So I do play Symborum with Paul on Mondays along with Sam. and Ian and Mitch and Pope. So check us out on Mondays playing Symborum at 8:30 Eastern. You can also find me on Wednesdays most time playing One Shot Wednesdays. In fact, later on when Tiny Tina Wonderlands release, I will be playing a Bunkers and Badasses one shot with the new material from Wonderlands and Nerdvana Games, so keep an eye out for that. And on Fridays, of course, I run Blue Rose West Marches, and every session changes the world completely and wholly for the next week. This is literally one of the largest consequences sessions so far, so I can't wait to see how people take it after this. That was me, and we will go. We will do outros in the same. Thank you so much, Green. Oh, before I move on, thank you so much, Green Ronin, for helping making this like a reality by paying, for sponsoring this, and Weave the Tail for actually hosting the platform that we're on. And thank you again to our stream tech, Sam, who always and Spence, who actually we had a double tech today, which impossible without you guys, so highly appreciated. I also want to take a moment to shout out our guests, Mr. Smith and Dido, for reprising their roles as Shigar and Corvo. Thank you so much again. I will say that although there wasn't really a chance to throw this out there, Pockets, you will find one of Shigar's knives in your meat flaps as you roll out these knives. So know that Shigar is with you always. We will now we will do outros in order of who we started off with. So Fen playing Marle.
Howdy. My name is Fen. You can find me on the internet at Fenacinni. You can find me here from time to time in various one-shot styled things, as well as elsewhere on the tabletop streaming world. I do stream weekly on some other places like Guild of the Phoenix, which is a bit of a small one where we just hang out and play some games. So outside of the tabletop streaming world, you can find me over in the podcast world at Response Team Omnicron, a Lancer tabletop actual play set in the No Room for a Wallflower campaign setting. Both are by Massive Press. I'm joined by the lovely Palm and Anna from this game, where we all hang out and play mechs, and a lot of people were really thrilled about the last session. So that's me in a nutshell. So
that podcast is ridiculous. It is a hit, and I'm so happy to have 3 of the RTO members on for just for this one game. We had to kick it up. We had to kick it up just for that. So as you know, right, RTO team doesn't go anywhere without toppling tyrannic governments, right? So
we don't go anywhere.
It works. That's literally how it works. This is no different. So make sure you check out Response Team Omnicron. Next up, Rindis at Party Web Games, playing Pockets.
Hi, I'm Rindis of Party White Games. I was playing King Pockets, first of his name, Long May He Reign. You can normally catch me here on Weave the Tail whenever I jump in on One Shot Wednesdays, run games for the channel, or over on my own channel, Party White Games, where we currently are in production of trying to get some other games going. Had kind of hiatuses for stuff and other things where life has just kind of kept us from playing, but you can catch us tomorrow where our wonderful Australian friend is running his first time doing a homebrew 5th edition campaign where Dido, Shay, and some other wonderful cast members getting back into the swing of things of playing our 5th edition game that's been on hiatus for a little while. So we will be back tomorrow. Check us out there at 8:30 Eastern.
All hail King Pockets. The last game that I played with Rindis was he was actually also playing an animal, although that was a duck. Ironically, Anna was also in that game. So we have had many animal-based sessions at this point, and I honestly expect the next one to be as well. So check out that 5th edition game for more wild Rindis times. Next up is Anna playing Aeyla.
Hey there, I'm Anna, aka Archivaldustbun most places on the internet. We're a trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer and podcaster. If any of that sounds interesting, you can find me on Twitter at Archivaldustbun. You can find me streaming all over the place. I'm often here on Weave, TPK Roleplay. Tuesday nights you can find me on Guild Black Feather Guild, playing our Champions of the Fae game, which is a 5e game set completely in the Feywild with a party completely made up of Fae, and it's as chaotic as you would expect. And we share probably 1 brain cell total as a party. I play a Selkie Sorcerer, and it's just a lot of fun. Next Friday, you can find me on Brambleberry Games playing Yaziba's Bread Bed and Breakfast, which is a newer game coming out. I think it's currently in crowdfunding or
Yes.
just ended.
I think it
Currently
just
in
ended, I believe.
crowdfunding. That's going to be a one-shot. It'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, you can also find me in Response Team Omnicron. Fen already hit all of our major points that I've written out in our marketing document. But I play Olivia, the team's defender. It means I'm the big mech that gets out in front of everything and takes the blows if I can. But yeah, if you like sci-fi feels, roleplay focused characters, or narrative first combat, we have all of that. You should really check us out. A lot of people seem to like us. You should come see why. That's all I got.
Sounds like I missed a
Same
bunch
thing.
of shit. What it sounds like.
Same
It sounds
thing,
like I didn't do a good enough job.
What it sounds like.
Teamwork makes
exactly
the
like
dream work.
RTO.
Oh, I'm
that's
just
RTO motto
ribbing
right there.
myself. Yeah, teamwork does
RTO
make the dream
motto
work
right
so
there.
much.
Also, yeah, make sure to check out that backer kit for Bed and Breakfast game if there is one already up. And you know they just ended, but that doesn't mean you can't still show your support. So anyway, thank you so much, Anna. And last but not least, our resident Papa Slayer, Marcus, played by Paul, who
committing
just absolutely knocks it out of
patricide
the park today.
often.
Yeah,
You
just
know.
literally, how can you
yeah.
fuck the patriarchy? Because by committing patricide, like it's ideal. Like
Yeah, I can't go any harder. I cannot go any harder. Literally, I cannot go any
physically,
harder.
physically, you can't.
It is physically impossible. Hi, everybody. You can find me at PaulMarchant6 on Twitter and Cincy0GP most everywhere else on the internet. You can also find me on Response Team Omnicron, like we said, where, again, Anna has already pointed out all the feels and all the butt rock. And we... Butt rock. But, yeah, we have a great time over there. Come, if you enjoyed the feels from the last game, they're going to get cranked up a notch. So you all should love it. It's going to be great stuff. You can also find me here on Weave. We're running our finale for our Shadowrun game on Tuesday, but if we do get those donations, we'll run a bonus episode where they actually get to go on a Shadowrun and not just escape from the jungle, where they actually get to do a Shadowrun thing in Shadowrun, where they actually do a run. I know, crazy. You can also find me here regularly on One Shot Wednesdays and most of the Crucible games with Dido, which is super fun, which we had on Monday this past week with Anthony, so go check that out on the replay if you haven't seen it yet. And let's keep those subscriptions coming, because I totally want to play wrestling next season on a fundamental level. If you haven't heard Pope, we ran a challenge for 200 subs, and if they hit it, he's gonna run Worldwide Wrestling, and I get to do commentary, which is important to me as a fundamental level because I love doing commentary.
We're almost there.
But it should be super.
We're at 180. I think we're at 180.
Yeah, we're like
or
super
80 or
close.
something Yeah, we're like
Yeah,
we're
we're
very
like super
close.
duper
So
close.
yeah.
I'm
more
still
than
going to push
half a
it.
month left. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still going to push it because I want to do it. So like I'm
Wrestling.
not gonna call that play-by-play. You know me. But yeah, it's a blast. Always fun getting to play with Rindis. Last time I got to play with Rindis, he had an axe and was a super mutant, obsessed with comic books. So it was good times had by all. Go check that out on replay so you can watch Ian panic as a storyteller a lot. If you enjoy that Schadenfreude.
That
But
game
as
was so funny.
as always,
that game was so funny.
as always, a big thank you to Anthony for running this Blue Rose Westmarch Compendium. We really appreciate you and the work you do. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
That is a perfect time to end off. So thank you so much, everybody, and check out all of our stuff. Follow these people on Twitter. Fuck the patriarchy, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday night and a great weekend. Bye bye.